Center Stadium with Bob Prince. This is Nellie K to greet you for the last regularly scheduled game of 1973 between the Pirates and the Montreal Expos. The magic number is 2. Any combination of net wins and Pirate losses totaling 2 would put the Pirates out of the 1973 race. But that thing is still a possibility because out in Chicago, after 5.5 innings of play, no score in that game, John Matlack going against Rick Russell. This afternoon, Jim Rooker will make a start, and he'll be going against Ernie McAnally. He had a very tender moment on the field before. On the pregame show, talking to Eddie Dunn, he received the accolades of the Pirate players, management, and the Steeler management, too. And a very tender performance on the field. Bob Prince will be along later to talk about that and bring you the ball game as he is down on the field right now. I'll have the opening lineups for this final game after I remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Iron City Beer. When you're really ready to pour it on, pour on the iron. By your Pirate Land Chrysler Plymouth dealers, who remind you now is the time to check out the beautiful new 1974 Superstar Chryslers and Plymouth. And by your host for the opening inning, Atlantic Richfield Company, makers of Arco Supreme gasoline and other fine petroleum products. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Pittsburgh Baseball Club solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the description and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Baseball Club is prohibited. Beautiful sunshiny day, and for the first time in a while we're looking at the sun. We went through a lot of rain here yesterday in a long afternoon and evening of baseball, winding up a loser, but the Pirates are still in the Eastern Division race, as are 4 other ball clubs. That's how unbelievable this season has been. Here are the starting lineups for the Montreal Expos. Against Jim Rooker, Philippe Alou will be in left field. He'll lead it off. Ron Woods will bat second. He'll play in center. Bob Bailey will bat third at third base. Hal Breeden will be the first baseman. He'll bat fourth. In right field, hitting fifth, Ken Singleton. John Boccabella will do the catching and bat sixth. Tim Foley will slide up to number 7 in the lineup. He'll be at shortstop. The second baseman will be Pepe Frias. He'll hit 8th. And the pitcher, right-hander Ernie McAnally, his record 7 and 8. Dave Cash in the leadoff split will be at second base. Gene Clines in center field will bat second. Al Oliver will play at first base. He'll hit third. In the cleanup spot, Mr. All-Everything for the Bucks this year, Willie Stargell, he'll be in left field. Richie Hebner will bat fifth. He'll be at third base. In right field, rookie Richie Zisk, finishing a fine rookie season. He'll bat sixth. Manny Sagian will do the catching and bat seventh. At shortstop, hitting 8th, Dal Maxwell. The pitcher will be left-hander Jim Rooker. His record 9 wins and 6 defeats. In the pitching standpoint, Rooker making his 18th start of the year, his 3rd appearance and 2nd start against Montreal. On the 15th of May, he had no decision in relief. The Pirates won that ball game 9-8. And on July the 1st, in the second game of the doubleheader, he won by the score of 8-4. The last time he started, pitched well against the Phillies here, but lost 2-1 to Steve Carlton, going 8 innings and giving up 2 runs. Both of them earned on home runs by Mike Anderson and Bill Robinson. Ernie McAnally for the Expos is in his 24th start of the year. His 6th start against the Pirates. He's been a very active pitcher against them. And lifetime against the Pirates, he is 4-5. Rooker's lifetime mark against the Montreal Expos, 1-0. Pirates taking the field. And time
accompanied by Bill Bickle.
Beautiful rendition of the national anthem by Miss Roberta Cunningham. And I may not be sure of this, but I think I heard her sing down in Atlanta earlier this year from Bolivar, Pennsylvania. It may not be the same woman, but it sure sounds like the same voice. Very fine rendition. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon here for the final game of the 1973 regular season, but it may not be the last game of 1973. We'll have a game with San Diego on Monday. Should the Mets lose two, and the Pirates lose, and the Cardinals lose, we'd still be in the thing. Or should the Mets split and the Pirates win? Or should the Mets lose two and the Pirates win? Now, we've got to win to make those things happen. But the Pirates have lost 3 in a row here. One to the Philadelphia Phillies, and the last two to the Montreal Expos, who are still in the race also. Now up from down on the field, Bob Prince, who had a very warm and tender ceremony down there with Eddie Dunn, and he received some very fine tributes and well-deserved. A guy with 47 years of service to Pittsburgh Pirate baseball and Steeler football, and some fine words from Art Rooney, president of the Steelers, Dave Justy of the Pirates, and Danny Galbraith from the Pirate management also. Eddie Dunn on the pregame show is going to enjoy retirement. He said he's going to start playing golf. That's a tough way to enjoy retirement, though. You can lose your mind trying to master that game, but he'll try to do it. Well, the guy who's mastered broadcasting for 27 years and hopefully will keep us in the race here this afternoon, the voice of the Pirates, Bob Prince.
Thank you very much, Nellie King, and hello again, everybody. And it was nice to be down on the field with Eddie Dunn, and he has deservedly earned his rest. And here's Philippe Alou at 233, and Rooker sends a strike. Andy Olson calling the balls and strikes. Down on the field, Gene Mock had noticed in his mind that Rooker might have had a tender arm, and he had 2 light-ups. One if it was to be Blass, one if it was to have been Rooker. It's Rooker. Here's the 0-1 to Alou. Swing and a miss. The New York Mets-Cub game scoreless at the end of 6 innings. Matlack and Russell in that one. And we understand under very unfavorable weather conditions, at least the last report we had, they're hopeful of getting just the 1 game in, maybe the 2. And they started it early, if I recall, anyhow, to begin with. And then on top of that, these 2 guys are throwing 0, so they're getting a pretty good break there with nothing score through the front 6. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alou, and Rooker back with a fastball that tailed outside. So it's a ball 2, strike 2 count to the left fielder, Philippe Alou, with Ron Woods and Bob Bailey to follow. They're swung to the left on Alou. Rooker with a 9 and 6 mark has Hebner, Maxville, Cash, and Oliver the infield. Stargell, Klein, Zisk the outfield. 2-2 delivery and a foul coming straight back. Ball 2, strike 2. Pleasant afternoon. President Arthur J. Rooney of the Steelers here taking in the ball game, and then he'll swing around and pick up a little of his own football club a little later on as they go at it. Ball 2, strike 2 down in Houston. Here's the 2-2 delivery now to Alou. And a breaking ball. He fouls it back. A changeup this time, and the count holding at 2-2. Congratulations to Pitt, to West Virginia, and to Penn State. And of the three, of course, naturally Pitt's very delighted over their big victory, but West Virginia must have really strapped it on at Illini Ball Club. They were heavily the underdogs in that game, and Danny Buggs got loose on the rug and went scampering in for the points that took it all down. Ball 2, strike 2 to Alou. And a pitch. And a curveball hammered way down the left field line, and I don't like, Nellie, to see somebody fouling off so many pitches.
Sure, Jim Rooker is not too crazy about it either, Robert.
What was your attitude as a pitcher when a man started to foul you off a lot of times, Nellie? Did you have a mental thing about it? Did something go through your mind when a man kept fouling off?
Well, it became a pretty good battle with you. It kept spoiling your pitches.
And there's a smack to shortstop. Maxwell comes up. The ball was hit solidly. Yes, Nellie?
It really bothered me to the point where I get overly concerned about it, to be honest with you. You're just trying to find some combination of pitches where you could set a guy up and maybe get him out. But you go through those situations a couple of times during the year, but it's not that prevalent. I don't think it really has that much of a mental effect on a pitcher.
All right, here now is Ron Woods, a center fielder, batting at .236 with 3 homers and 31 runs batted in. I got that thing finally adjusted here. I don't know. It's sliding all over my bald spot. Talking about the apparatus that holds the dingers in which we speak. Ball 1 to right-end batting Ron Woods. Here's the 1-0, and a ball punched off the right side. Down goes Cash for the ball and throws him out. So it's 2 down. Nobody on, and Bob Bailey, the batter, at .275. 26 homers and 86 runs batted in. There are so many combinations involved to keep the Pirates playing around here that will just not work with too many of them, other than to say that if the Mets lose 2 and we win here, or then we got a magic number of 2, but we'll play tomorrow against San Diego. If the Mets lose 2 and we lose today, and the Cardinals lose. If they lose 2 and we win, we'll play San Diego. And if they win a pair, we can forget no matter what we do. Not really, because they got 2 more they can lose. Huh?
No, I guess I am.
Keeping both of them, yeah.
If we win, why, we'll play tomorrow.
Yeah. So the pitch is low, ball 2. That's the thing to do right now is win, and I imagine San Diego sitting out there saying, well, let's see, it's 1:45 here, 11:15 there in the morning. They're just getting up saying, don't tell me we got to come to Pittsburgh. I think they're rooting for Montreal. San Diego is.
I will stand corrected. If the Mets win 2, we're out of it, okay? Right. But if they lose 1, then we win, we have to
play tomorrow. That's correct. Ball 3 and no strike pitch to Bailey. And a strike on the corner. Andy Olson behind the plate. Crawford at first. Palacudas at second. Harvey at third. This umpiring crew here undoubtedly will remain over in the event that just on a logistics problem, the crew is here. Bailey is walked by Rooker. So we'll know more before this afternoon is over. We'll be able to give you a pretty good idea about whether we're going to play tomorrow. And if we do, it'll be at 1:35.
I asked Art Roudson what San Diego is doing. And he said Fuzzy Bavasi told him to go to the airport this morning and hang around in the lobby until we find out what happens in that first game in Chicago. And if the Mets lose the thing, why, they're going to have to start flying.
Yeah, they can get their good little old sourdough bread and come on in with it. Call them and get these case of Laura Scudder peanut butter. Here's Hal Breeden, the first baseman up there. He's a toughie. He's had a lot to do with the resurgence of the Montreal club. He's platooned by Gene Mock, takes it outside for a ball, and on top of which he took a lot of weight off. He really is in great condition. The look to first and Bailey. Rooker's delivery in there for a call. Strike 1-1. 2 down, Bailey at first, and no score.
By the way, Bob, Eddie Casco is fired today, and Darrell Johnson has taken his job for next year.
You mean the designated hitter?
No.
There's a ball hit off the glove of Hebner. He leaped high to get to it. Stargell running over to get to the ball. He comes up firing, and they're going to have a double by Breeden. I don't know whether Hebner could have gotten that one or not. He leaped, I thought, if he was to have gotten it, a little prematurely. And as he seemed to me that as the ball went over his glove, he was on his way down rather than on his way up. I mean, that was a tough one to play. I'm just saying, if he was to get it, it seems to me it was to have been on the up part of the leap rather than coming down. So Breeden has a double, and Stargell dug it out of there in a whale of a hurry to hold it to just that. And the right fielder Singleton now standing in, batting at .300, 23 homers, 103 runs batted in. Put him on. The Openers and Closers Women's Club from McDonald, Pennsylvania. Many years this group been attending ball games, and Newt Johnson, former Mayor Bouguet, and Joseph Bianchi, ladies in their enthusiasm for baseball, are all down here. Many of them have seen the games going back to the days of Honus Wagner. And it's nice to have Mrs. Rose Bianchi, Rose Wilson, Georgette Del Verne, and Christina Johnston all here rooting for the Bucks today. Now the walk to Singleton is the second in the inning, and the bases are now loaded with 2 down to the catcher John Bacabella, batting at .228, 7 homers and 45 runs batted in. 2 away and no score. But the Expos threaten here. Started off innocently enough. Alou and Woods finally grounding out. Bailey drew a walk, and Hal Breeden hit a double just over third. And now the walk to Singleton to load him up. So Bacabella, wide open stance. Outfield swung left the pitch, and it's outside, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Rooker again ready. The 1-0 pitch. And it's beat foul off third past Davey Bristol. Wedding anniversary greetings of 59th to Mr. and Mrs. Leslie E. Riggle of Shakora, and get wells to John Schweitzer in West Mifflin. A lot of birthdays. We'll feed them in without interrupting the flow of the play-by-play. Expos have 3 on here in the first inning with 2 out. No score. Jim Rooker trying to get out of this jam with John Bacabella. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count to him. Now the pitch. And a swing and a miss. And it looked like he tried to go off the right side with that one, 1 and 2. New York doesn't score in the 7th, and the Cubs now bat Matlack and Russell in that one. No score into the bottom of the 7th. Game 1 at Chicago. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Bacabella. Bases loaded, 2 out. No score first inning. Rooker's into the windup. The left-hander comes down. Fastball outside, bouncing out of the mid of Sanguin, popping harmlessly off to the right. Ball 2, strike 2. Let's not get to a 3-2 count on this guy if we can help it. Let those runners get that extra edge. Ball 2, strike 2. And the 2-2 delivery. He stuck him out swinging on a high fastball. And that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 men left. And we go to the bottom of the first. There is no score. All right, it'll be Ernie McIntyre. McAnally, 7 and 8 on the year. Bailey, Foley, Frias, and Breed in the infield. Alula Woods singled in the outfield. Boncabella behind the plate. We send some happy birthdays along here before the play gets underway. There's no score as we go to the bottom of the first. A 15th to Jeannie Barsh of Etna, to Carmen Fuzillo of East Liberty, to Edna Volk. A 22nd to Kenneth Flynn, a 92nd to Mrs. Jessie Kress of Connoquenessing, an 84th to Minnie Stood in Derry, a 72nd to Johnny Falk in Negley, Ohio. A happy birthday to Mrs. Clarence Maxwell in New Kensington, and a happy 86th to Mrs. Victoria Miller of Castle Shannon, an 83rd to Louis Bakke in Steubenville, a 78th to Myrtle Shaw, a 13th to Mary Teresa Schuler, and a 90th to Melissa Litzinger, an 86th to George Kashurik in Mount Lebanon, a 65th to Mrs. Pearl Baker, a 15th to Chris Shea in Weston, West Virginia, and an 85th to Harry J. Beck in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday and many more to all of you listening in. All right, here we go now, and it is McAnally on the mound, a right-hander, and Dave Cash batting at .269, 2 homers and 30 runs batted in. Radio Rich informs that the Chicago Cubs have not scored a run in the last 24 innings. And Cash bangs it sharply off shortstop side. Foley is up and throws low, held by Breeden, 1 out. They were shut out twice by the Cardinals, the Cubs were, and have not scored in the front 6, so it's 24 scoreless innings, and Prince's hidden vigorish ought to be taken over pretty soon. It's about time the Cubs punched a run out there somewhere. Center fielder Gene Clines at .268, 1 homer and 23 runs batted in. Outfield will play him fairly straight out. McAnally, the right-hander, comes down. Clines punches a foul up along first. It's going to drift up over the dugout. And the count now 0-1. Eddie Dunn, retired after the football season, honored here today, a great grounds crewman and a great man. We'll miss Eddie. Now the Cubs don't score, and it's 0-0 into 7. Mets batting in the 8th. Cash a swing, strike 2 on a McAnally sinker. Fastball inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Delivered outside for a ball, 2-2. The Mets must be kicking up a fuss because Locker is now pitching in relief of Russell in the 8th inning for Chicago. Ball 2, strike 2. Gene Clines, the batter. 1 out and an on, no score, first inning. Here comes the pitch. Inside all the way to the backstop. Did it hit off his bat? Was it foul or what? We'll wait until we see a call from the plate umpire. It might have kicked off Gene's bat. If that's the case, the count holds at 2-2. No sign now. It's 3-2. That's the first base umpire. I picked him up. Crawford was trying to indicate to Andy Olson that it was ball 3 and it was not a foul ball, so it's a 3-2 count. Here's the pitch and a swing and a foul back. Shag just looking down the line to him just made a very brief sign. Now he's coming up to check. He wants to be sure that the count is 3-2. Made a very brief sign to Andy Olson. Was that ball foul or was it one? And Olson immediately then went to a 3-1 count. Now here's the pitch, and it's stuck. He's swinging. All right, 2 down to Al Oliver, batting at .290, 20 homers, 97 runs batted in. Here's Al Oliver. He was honored today by the Big Brothers of America, and he is everything that you say he can be when you call him a big brother. He's all of that. He's a fine gentleman. He's had the care of his younger brother when a youngster really needed a mother and father and didn't have one because of early deaths in their family. Al bounces in one hopper back to McAnally, and he is thrown out. So at the end of one inning, no score here. No score into the top of the second, and while we have a few moments, let's take 10 seconds of those moments for station identification on the Pirate Baseball Network.
It's a special team for a special place. You're listening to Pirate Baseball on KDKA Pittsburgh.
And into this second inning, it'll be Foley, Pepe Frias, and Ernie McAnally. That'll be going at it. Very warm, pleasant autumnal day here. As the Bucks have to win this one and hope out on the west that the Cubs will do something. They switched off Russell in the 8th inning to Bob Locker, so the Mets could be kicking up a little bit of a ruckus there in the first game. Here's the pitch now, and Foley bounces a one-hopper down to Hebner. He throws him out. One away, and second baseman Pepe Frias standing in at 233, no homers and 22 runs batted in. Frank Oshry, now the big mogul of Lowe's L'Enfant, the newest hotel and acquisition of the Lowe's people in Washington, D.C. He's a Pittsburgher. Sir, visiting and watching the ball game and hoping you'll be able to stay here and see one tomorrow and in the championship series. It takes some doing, but it's mathematically possible. Rooker goes to the second baseman, Pepe Frias, who takes it outside for a ball. He's a right-hand batter. Mock was, as we said earlier, not at all certain that Rooker was sound. Foul back, and he was sitting on the bench with him, and he asked the question. I said, I suppose you got two lineups. And he pulled them right out. He says, there's the Rooker lineup, and there's the Blast lineup. And Blast had gone down there earlier and had thrown a little bit while Rooker was throwing. So Jim must have said he's all right. Here's a 1-1. Curve dropped in beautifully for a called strike. Ball 1, strike 2 to Pepe Frias. 1 out, none on, and the second no score. Curveball beat weakly off towards second. Cash comes up to meet it. Snaps his throw to her. Now Ernie McAnally batting at 188. The pitcher standing in. 2 down, none on, no score. Pitches high for a ball to the right-hand batting McAnally. All of the Expo brass is down below behind the dugout. Mr. and Mrs. John McHale, Jim Fanning, Mrs. Jean Mott, Danny Melendez. We got them all here. And a great flock of fans are here over the weekend, over here to the left side of us. And in our booth, the family and relations of Jean-Pierre Roth, the great broadcaster from Montreal. A ball inside, 2 balls and a strike. Ball 2, strike 1, 1 out, or 2 out, none on. Outfield to McAnally playing around to the left. All right, the 2-1 delivery. Swing on a fastball, he fouled it straight back. Count out now to 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. 2 out and an on, no score, second inning. Rooker back to McAnally, and there's a ball punched up toward Dave Cash. He's got it, and that'll retire the side. 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 1.5, there is no score.
Pirate Baseball has been brought to you by Atlantic Richfield Company. Your host now is Foodland Market. Say Foodland is your land and you'll land plenty. Robert, what do you do to me?
Well, Bobby Riggs sent me some high karate, and I thought we'd both put it on and see if we can get lucky. Anyhow, let's take 20 seconds and think about that for our local station. Cubs thwart the New York Mets in the 8th inning. They haven't scored there. 0-0 into the bottom of the 8th. Now it's Locker against Matlack. Stodgel swings and he fouls a curveball away. They do not overshift on Stodgel with Gene Mock managing the ball club. They hold Foley off to the left side because they know Stodgel goes over that way a lot. If they overshift, Mock figures that he'll base hit out that way. That's one of the reasons why Stodgel leads the major leagues in doubles, because he's taken advantage of that shift and gone that way. Needs 2 more to become all-time, I guess, Pirate double hitter. Takes a fastball inside, a ball, 1-1.
The last home run Willie Hitty hit off this fella.
Why not hit another one? Hey, it went out of there, too, didn't it?
Sure did.
If it hadn't hit the scoreboard, I think it might have still been gone. The 1-1 pitch. And a hammering swing by Wilbur. Ball 1 and strike 2. Well, Nellie, you and I don't get to vote, but by golly, I'll tell you, if this guy isn't an MVP-er, I'm going to quit. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And he hits it straightaway deep to left center. Ron Woods is going to be over on the warning track to get it. And there's 1 out. Now listen to Bill Christine on with John Signal last night, and Bill felt that Stodgel had an excellent chance to win it on account of the fact that they feel that many of the writers will split their votes for Rose and Morgan. But he also, without any question, went on to point out that as Hebner comes to the plate, that Stodgel on his own is going to get a lot of votes. He's really done a job. Here's a pitch, and Hebner jams it down toward Pepe Frias, who throws on to Breeden, the 2 away. Now, right fielder Richie Zisk.
Hebner's batting helmet almost took the head off of home plate umpire there, Andy Olson. He didn't know it came flying by.
Richie threw the helmet farther than he hit the ball. Richie Zisk, the batter, at 321. 9 homers. McAnally fastball low, ball 1. McAnally back with a fastball, this time pumped to the foul side of first on account of 1 ball and 1 strike. The Galbraith family here, the Johnson family. This is a big game. A win for Pittsburgh totally annihilates Montreal. If the Cardinals win today, it puts Montreal out of the race, too. For this to be a 5-team tie, Montreal has to beat us today. We got to beat San Diego tomorrow. And Montreal, of course, there's a high fly out into right center, very deep. Ron Woods is back in the shadow along with Singleton, and it'll be Woods, the center fielder, will get it. The Cardinals have to lose, and the Cubs have to sweep the Mets. That's the only way you can get a 5-teamer. So at the end of 2 innings here, there is no score.
The 3rd inning will find Philippe Alou, Ron Woods, and Bob Bailey batting against Jim Rooker in a scoreless ball game. Rooker pitched out of trouble in the 1st inning with the bases loaded. He struck out John Bacabella. He has really picked up the slack this year, winning 9 and losing 6, but as a starting pitcher, his record much better than it might indicate with a 9-6 mark. He has been a very consistent pitcher in the last 5 weeks. Jack Billingham pitching for Cincinnati today. Chance to win 20 games. He'll be going against Ron Bryant, the only 20-game winner in the National League, with 23. Alan Foster will pitch for St. Louis this afternoon. Jim Lonborg going for the Philadelphia Phillies. Cardinals on a real hot streak are finishing the season very strong. They still have a chance to win it. Their record 80-81. They're just a game and a half behind the New York Mets, who are still scoreless after 8 innings of play in Chicago. They're in the bottom of the 8th, actually. The Cubs batting. Matt Lack going for New York. Rick Russell started. Bob Locker replaced him in the 8th inning. They've got another doubleheader tomorrow. And we could be playing San Diego here tomorrow afternoon at 1:35. A lot of ifs about that, but it is a possibility. And we could be playing on Tuesday, too. There's a lot more possibilities on that one. And we got a win here this afternoon. No score, Felipe Alou grounded to shortstop Dal Maxwell his first time up. He takes a strike, cracking fastball by Jim. Felipe was acquired from the New York Yankees a couple of weeks ago. Been playing baseball for a number of years. I think he started his minor league career about 57, 58. High fly off the right side. Oliver at first base is going to make the play. In fair territory, run down. Center fielder Ron Woods batting second will step in. First time up, he grounded out to Dave Cash. Woods, another Yankee. He was acquired in a trade that sent Ron Swoboda, you remember him, to the Yankees. Woods deep in the box, closed stance, almost out of the batter's box. Sanguin, the catcher. Foul, back out of play. No balls and 1 strike. Good group on hand here today. Good crowd of about 35 or so. George Salem, good Pirate fan from Johnstown, bringing a group down of 250 or more. The 0-1 pitch, grounded up the middle. Fine play by Rooker. Knocks it down, not actually down, hung in the webbing of the glove, and he throws on to first base for the out. Good play by Jim. The ball gets by him, it's a sure base hit. 2 up, 2 down in the 3rd inning. That's the way Rooker opened the ball game, but he walked Bailey. Breeden got a double, and Singleton intentionally walked, and then he worked out of it by striking out Vacabella with the bases loaded. Bailey having a big year, 26 home runs, 86 RBIs. He's sitting at 275. The windup in the pitch by Rooker is a fastball taken, strike 1. Jim's fastball running away from the right-handed batter. It's a good curveball that he works in there, and also a hard slider. The 0-1 pitch, curve, swung on and missed, strike 2. A lot of banners unfurled. A real small one, but very descriptive out in left center field, right near the flagpole. Picture Willie Sturgeon. Willie is our king. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. No score, 2 down in the 3rd inning. Expos and the Pirates trying to stay alive. Curveball hits to 3rd. Hebner backpedaling a bit, has it. He goes on to first base. That'll retire the Expos in order. Well, we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and there is no score. Well, this is Fan Appreciation Day, and a good crowd on hand for it, and just a perfectly beautiful afternoon. Sanguin, Maxwell, and Rooker will bat for the Pirates in the bottom of the 3rd, and they said the Bucks trying to stay alive in this wild Eastern Division race. Unbelievable finish with 5 teams on the final day of the season. Or as it turns out, the final regularly scheduled day, but they'll be playing tomorrow. 5 teams still have a chance for a tie. The play hasn't been that excellent, but it sure has been exciting and tension-packed the last month. Sanguillen takes a fastball from McAnally down low, ball one. McAnally and Rinko, a couple of former New York Met farm hands who started as infielders or outfielders, turned to pitching, have done very well. This guy has a fine arm. The 1-0 pitch is right on the corner, taken by Sanguillen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Manny batting at .282, 12 home runs. He's driven in 65. McAnally's 1-1 pitch to Sanguillen, foul. Back into the crowd. The count 1-2. Sanguillen with 26 doubles ties his personal season high and has hit more home runs this year than ever, but his average has dipped considerably. Fouls at the feet of the catcher, Bacabella. The count 1-2. Expos with a left-hander going against them have some right-handed batters in there. Lou, Woods, and Singleton in the outfield. Bailey, Foley, Frias, and Breeden in the infield. New second baseman and first baseman, a new left and center fielder. The 1-2 pitch, fouled again, out of play. The count 1-2 on Sanguillen. Pirates lost Friday night. Was, I guess, the real damaging one of all of the recent ones. Game they gave away and really made it difficult for any chance of staying in the race, but they are still alive. The windup on the 1-2 pitch to Manny. Grounded right back to the mound. McAnally's got him. 1 down. That'll bring up Dal Maxwell, the shortstop, who's hitting at .192. No home runs, driven in 17. Cincinnati, playing today, has a chance to wind up with 100 wins. What a year they've had. Pitch up high. Sparky Anderson has a pretty good leg up on Manager of the Year. The 1-0 pitch, down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Reds are 99 and 62. 37 over 500. Fastball in at the knees, taken by Maxey, strike 1. The amazing thing that on July 1st, the Reds were only 2 games over 500. Tells you what kind of a second half they've had. Foul on a breaking ball off the first base side. The count 2-2. The 2-2 pitch, down low, full count of 3-2. 1 down in the Pirates' 3rd inning. No score in the ball game. Ernie McAnally and Jim Rucker dueling. Here's a payoff pitch to Maxey, fouled out of play, first base side. Only 1 club over 500 in the Eastern Division. That's New York, 2 games over. St. Louis and the Pirates, the only ball club that have a chance to finish at 500. They both have lost 81, but they have to keep winning. Line drive right back to McAnally. He's got it. Ball is hit directly into his glove. He didn't know he had it. He threw the ball over to Bailey to try to throw it around the infield, and he threw it out in the left field. Get a little excited about things. But a very fine play on a line drive. 2 down, and it brings up Jim Rucker. The Cubs have taken a 1-0 lead after 8 innings of play. When that score goes up on the board, you're going to get a pretty good hand on it. Chicago leads 1-0. It keeps a few things alive. Like the Pirates, like the Expos, like the Cubs, and St. Louis. Bob Locker will pitch the 9th inning against the Mets. They have a doubleheader to go tomorrow. We're honored with the presence of Marie Torrey here this afternoon, enjoying the beautiful fall Sunday afternoon weather. Rooker, batting at .217, has had 10 hits in 46 at-bats. He's driven in 2 runs. Said he's going to hit a home run sometime in the National League. He hit about 6 or 7 over the American. It'd be a good day to do it. McAnally was tough up in Montreal, allowed only 1 run. That was a home run by Stargell. We got the other 2 off Tom Walker in relief, winning 3-0. Rooker fouls back onto the screen, strike 1. The 0-1 pitch, low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery in the dirt bounces all the way to the backstop, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike on Rooker. Radio Rich going to give him a call in Chicago to see how things are going. Well, the announcement on the phonogram: the Cubs lead the Mets 1-0 after 8 innings. You better believe the Expos are looking at that board too. Wind up in the 2-2 delivery. Curveball, he started to go, but checked off. The count is full at 3-2. Foul tip dropped by Bacabella. Here's a payoff pitch again, and this one foul back. The shadows starting to lengthen here already as the fall season upon us has that World Series type of atmosphere. And the games have been close to that the last week or so. Fastball, he hit Rooker with it, and he got hit on the left arm. Oh, he is mad. McAnally laid one in there right on the fist, and he hit Rooker on the right forearm. He was angry, man. He threw his batting helmet down. The other cap popped out of it. He didn't say anything, but he was just annoyed at getting hit. He'd gone to first base. That'll bring up Dave Cash, the first base runner for the Pirates. Rooker taking a leisurely stroll down there. 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning for New York. They have a runner at second base against Bob Locker. They're going to get a jacket for Rooker. Ken Boswell pinch hitting for Jerry Grody with 2 down. The Cubs leading 1-0 in the 9th inning. Who's at second, Rich? You got a runner at second, but who it is, we don't know. But that's the tying run at second base in Chicago with 2 down. Boswell pinch hitting for Jerry Grody. The Cubs lead 1-0. That's the first of a doubleheader. Here's a pitch to Cash, and it's inside, taken by Dave. Strike 1. It's caught the inside corner. Cash didn't think so. Andy Olson, the home plate umpire. Shag Crawford at first. Chris Pelakudis is at second. Doug Harvey is at third. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Cash, strike 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Cash. He struck him out. That ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We've completed 3, and there is no score. Foodland Markets have presented Pirate Baseball. We continue now with baseball brought to you by your Pirate Lane Chrysler Plymouth dealer, who reminds you now is the time to check out the beautiful new 1974 Superstar Chryslers and Plymouths. Now, Radio Rich in telephone contact with Chicago. There in the ninth inning, a runner at second base, Ken Boswell, pinch hitting for Jerry Grody. The Cubs scored in the bottom of the eighth inning on an errant play by Matlack. He tried to get the out at second base on a sacrifice attempt. He didn't get it on a fielder's choice. They had runners at first and second, and Ron Santo came through with a key base hit to drive in a run. Boswell has walked, putting runners at first and second. Walker still pitching. And Ed Kranepool will pinch hit for Bud Harrelson. Ed Kranepool pinch hitting for Bud Harrelson with runners at first and second, 2 down, and the Cubs leading 1-0. We've got no score here. We're in the fourth inning. The leadoff batter is Hal Breeden, the first baseman. He's had the only hit of the afternoon. That was a double down the left field line. Rooker was hit on the arm, but it appeared to be the right forearm, not his pitching arm, the left arm. Here's the pitch by Rooker. Fastball bounced up the middle to his left. Is Maxwell, gets it, throws on to first. He got him. Good play by Maxwell. He just got by Rooker and was not hit sharply enough to get through the middle of the infield as Maxwell made a fine play ranging behind second base to get the out. That'll bring up Kenny Singleton, switch hitter. He's batting right-handed. He drew an intentional walk in the first inning with first base open after the double by Breeden. And the strategy worked as Rooker struck out John Boccabella. Singleton hitting even .300, 23 home runs, 103 runs knocked in. He's scored 99. Fastball is in there, taking strike one. Very interesting interview of this fellow following the long game yesterday and last night. Attended Hofstra University on a basketball scholarship. Baseball is the sport he wanted to play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Singleton. Curve down low, 2 balls and a strike. Count on Ed Kranepool is strike 1 with runners at first and second out there, and the Cubs leading 1-0. It's all over. The New York Mets have lost the first game 1-0. The Cubs beat the Mets 1-0. Foul back out of play, and the crowd down below evidently has some transistors tuned in. Strap it on them. What do you say? We're still alive. The pulse is beating, Robert. We got to do some winning here, though. We've lost 3 in a row. The Expos have been a tough ball club. The count 2-2 on Kenny Singleton. That's the 79th loss by New York. Ground ball up the middle past Maxwell. Base hit by Singleton. And that guy's unbelievable. The number of times he's been on base this year. He's going to wind up close to 300 times on base. That's with walks, hits, and hit by pitching. A 1-out single brings up John Boccabella. He struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning. Pirates back for the double play. Pitch outside, ball 1 on Boccabella. The 1-0 pitch, Singleton's going. The ball is lined up the middle, base hit. Singleton round second. He's on his way to third. Klein picks it up. He hustles into second base. And the Expos have something going with runners at first and third. 1 down. Foley will be the batter. Pirates now need the double play ball. Rooker touched for back-to-back singles. Both well hit. And we're getting some activity in the Pirate bullpen. A phone ringing, I believe, out there. Looks like some stirring. Nobody starting to throw. Just a flurry of activity. Foley bounced to Hebner in the second inning. He pops one to right field. It's deep enough it should get a run in. Zisk is going to make the play, however. Here's a throw to the plate. It is on line. Is it in time? It isn't. He scores. Moving into second, Boccabella. The Expos lead 1-0. Very good throw by Zisk, but the speed of Singleton just beating the play. And Boccabella moved into scoring position, and it brings up Pepe Frias, the second baseman. Now the Expos, as they have been doing, moving out in front here, leading 1-0. Frias hitting at .233, right-handed batter. Bounce to second baseman Dave Cash. Boccabella with some good base running moved into scoring position. Frias swings and a ball was foul-tipped off the shin guards of Sanguin. Strike one. Pirate bats have been mighty silent ever since we left Montreal, except for that 113-run performance against the Philadelphia Phillies. Pitching, however, has, despite the fact it's been rather thin this year, pitched fairly well. We just have not hit at all. The 0-1 pitch, fly ball, left center field. That should be the final out. Drifting over is Stargell. He's calling for it. Willie's got it. That'll retire the side, but the Expos take the lead. One run on a couple of hits, no errors, and one left. We go to the bottom of the fourth. The Expos lead 1-0. Well, the crowd here between innings getting the score. Those who didn't hear it on their transistors, that the Cubs beat the New York Mets 1-0 in the front ball game. Well, the record now of New York, 80 wins, 79 defeats. The Cardinals playing this afternoon against the Phillies with Foster going against Lonborg have won 80 and lost 81. The Pirates are 79 and 81. Montreal 79 and 82. Chicago now is 77 and 82. Now the Cubs are 3 games out, and they have 3 games remaining with New York. And if they can win those 3, they'll wind up tied with the New York Mets. But if the Cardinals win, they can win everything should the Cubs sweep New York, because the Cardinals have lost 81 games. And the Pirates have only lost 81. But the Pirates have to win here in this afternoon's final game with Montreal. Cardinals get a big win yesterday with Bob Gibson coming off the disabled list in his first time out, picking up a victory. Leadoff batter for the Pirates, trailing by a run, Gene Clown. He struck out in the first inning. Curveball up high, ball one. The magic number still stays at 2 for the Pirates, with the Mets losing in that first game. The crowd getting a little bit enthusiastic here. Curve on the corner taken by Gene. The count 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Grounded to third, it's foul. Roy Girella has just kicked a field goal in the second quarter at Houston, and they lead 3-0. It's been a tough park for the Steelers. I think they've only scored about 3 touchdowns in the last 3 or 4 years there. Very hard field, tough playing surface. The 1-2 pitch, check swing, foul. The count 1-2. Ray Mansfield said it's like playing on Route 66 down there. That's about as good a description as you can get. The 1-2 delivery to Gene Kleins. Line shot on one hop off the leg of Foley. Cams away from him, and Kleins has got a single. Foley throws on to first base after Kleins rounded the bag. Had no play there. That's ruled as an error on the shortstop, Tim Foley. But a sharply hit ball just about ate him up. Well, the Pirates get a runner on to open up the fourth inning, and it brings up Al Oliver. He bounced out to the pitcher, Eddie McAnally, to end the first inning. Fastball was taken by Al, strike one. Expos shading a bit to left field with center fielder Ron Woods a step or two into left center field. But the right fielder, Singleton, pretty much straight away. Gap, if any place, is in right center. The runner's going. The ball is down low. Boncabella's throw is not in time. Fine. Field second. Tying run is in scoring position. The Expos out in front 1-0, but the error by Foley, a steal of second, as a tying run in scoring position to count 1-1 on Al Oliver. Scoops with 97 RBI. Well, look at second. McAnally's pitch is lined to left field. Slicing away from Alou. It's a base hit. It runs in. It gets all the way to the wall. Oliver's got a double for sure. We've got a tie game 1-1. Way to go, Scoops. A good crowd on hand, and I'll tell you, it's loaded with Pirate fans here this afternoon. This is the first time in a while, Bob, that this crowd has come alive in this ballpark in the month of September. But they're getting a fever with the way things are happening out in Chicago with the Mets losing out there. We're still alive.
Yes, we certainly are very much alive, and now with a chance as Marcus come out, and the Cardinals, meanwhile, are beating the Phillies 1-0. If the Cardinals win that game, they eliminate the Montreal Ball Club today, no matter what Montreal does here. And that would then reduce it down to a 4-team possibility. That double by Oliver is his second. He's second, I should say, in doubles in the major league. He has 37. Stargell has 43. There's so doggone many combinations on this four-way tie, and whether we play tomorrow and whether we don't play tomorrow. And Nellie and I are not going to confuse you with that just yet. I'll get the guy warming up for you, Nellie.
All right, Willie Stargell, the batter, with the first base open. They'll be pitching to him. They have the shift on. Frias has moved into Steve Rinko throwing. He started the other night here. Well, Mark knows this is a needed ball game. Willie takes a fastball, strike one. Foley, the shortstop, is playing directly behind the runner, about 5-10 feet on the third base side of second. The second baseman, Pepe Frias, a good 30 feet into right field. And the outfield pinched in towards center field. They're giving both lines. Throw to second base, back in time, Oliver. Kind of a off the wrong foot girlish toss by the pitcher, Ernie McAnally. The look there, the pitch to Willie. Curve outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
That run Chicago scored in the 8th inning is their first run in 25 innings. That Hidden Biggers was due to come around sometime, and Matlack hadn't lost in quite a while either, Nellie.
I begin to believe you're vigorous, Theory. We haven't won in 3 days. We're about due. The 1-1 pitch. Down low, Willie didn't offer. 2 balls and a strike. McAnally pitching a bit more carefully here.
Line score on the Cub game, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error. Santo drove in the winning run. New York, no runs, 8 hits, no errors. Locker, the winner, 10-6. Matlack, the loser, 14-16.
We're tied here, 1-1. Nobody down. In the 4th inning, Oliver at second, the go-ahead run. Stargell fouls back into the booth. And Frank Piscanic, who makes his first appearance in the Pirate booth, has himself a souvenir.
And he gave it to his daughter right away, Karen.
His daughter Leslie up there, I thought she was going to get one.
I hope she doesn't get him in her beautiful teeth, because she's got a set of choppers.
The look at second and Oliver. The count is 2-2 on Willie. Another peek by McAnally and the pitch. He struck him out. Stargell goes down swinging. The runner stays at second, and the batter is Hebner. Big strikeout for McAnally. Keeps the runner at second base. Third strikeout. Hebner bounced out to second baseman Pepe Frias, his first time up. McAnally, a tough guy to pull with that sinking fastball. Oliver at second base says Frias is pitched right behind him, and they will now intentionally walk Hebner and take their chances with Ricky Zisk. Now, the last time they pitched around Hebner to get to Zisk was up in Montreal when Mike Torres did it, Bob. And as I recall, it loaded the bases. And Zisk hit his first grand slam. He hit the ball well his first time up, as Bob described in the second inning, sending Woods on the warning track in deep center field. Only one down. Mock setting it up to the righty against righty possibility, and also keeps a double play possibility alive with Hebner on at first base. Cardinals leading the Phillies 1-0. Keep in mind that they are tied with the Pirates in the loss column.
And also, Nelly, too, if they win their game, they eliminate Montreal no matter what they do to us here. I'll tell you, this has been the doggonedest gut buster in quite a while, hasn't it? Get butterflies in your tummy on games like these.
Oliver at second base, Hebner at first. Zisk the batter with one down. We're tied 1-1 in the fourth inning. The Cubs have beaten the Mets in the first game of their doubleheader. Ball hit in the hole. It's on through. Oliver grounding third. Here's a play by Lou. It is not in time. The Pirates lead 2-1. Well, the strategy did not work. Gene Mock playing for the double play possibility. It almost did. The ball had eyes. Went right between Bailey and Foley on in the left field. And Zisk picks up his 51st RBI, and the Pirates lead 2-1. And it brings up Manny Salguia with a runner Hebner in scoring position at second. Zisk on at first. The Expos pick a 1-0 lead. And about that time, it was flashed on the board that the Cubs had beaten the Mets, and the Pirates have come back with 2 to take the lead here 2-1. This is going to be quite an afternoon of baseball. Stay with us. We'll keep you up to date on all the scores. Sangy does not offer the curveball outside ball 1. He'll be hooked into St. Louis a little bit later on, too, as that game develops.
No, we keep saying we're not going to have a game with... We will have a game with San Diego if the Mets lose 2 and we lose today. Supposing we win and the Mets split, they say there's no game with San Diego tomorrow. But if the Cubs should take New York the next 2, no game if there's a split.
If we lose, we'd have 82 losses. And when we get 82 losses, we're out of it. Other than the Mets have to lose 2. Pitch is down low on Salguia, and the count is 3 balls and no strikes.
My point is, it says here, if we lose, we win, we're going to be 80-82, aren't we?
No, we'd be 80-81.
80-81. And the Mets could split today and then lose the next 2 tomorrow. Now where do they put it? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And Salguia takes a strike. He started down to first base and comes back hollering a bit at Andy Olson. Not that loud, but he made it known to Olson. He didn't think that was a strike. Make him pay for it, Sangy. The count 3-1. Maxwell, the on-deck batter, with Hebner at second, Zisk at first. The Pirates lead 2-1, fourth inning. Here's the pitch. He is in there, taking strike 2. Well, John Stigney ought to be happy. They've taken a 3-1 pitch. Sanguin with a count of 3-2. See if the runners will be going. Hebner at second, Zisk at first. Throw over, and back in time was this. They had the pickoff play at first base. Mock has a lot of plays, and they work on these things consistently in spring training. They probably have more pickoff plays than anybody in the league. The count 3-2. The runner's not going. Sanguin hits off the third base side. It's a fair ball. Bailey, no. It just curls foul right at the bag. Bailey came in quick enough to get the ball, but it was curling foul, and he let it go. They want another baseball, as Sanguin does.
And Sanguin claims the ball hit him on the foot, too, and he wants to see if it has a mark on it. That bothers a ball player when that little black spot comes rolling up in their eyes.
I thought, too, the ball looked like it did bounce off his foot. That's why I was wondering why they were going to make a play on the ball, but you can't make that assumption if you're standing at home plate in a game like this. Count of 3-2. On that pitch, the runners were not going. Hebner at second. Zisk is at first base. Pirates lead 2-1. Here's the pitch to Sanguin. He is outside. Ball 4. He lost him. That's the second walk of the inning. Still only one out. Dal Maxwell will not bat here. Danny Murtaugh, for the first time in a long while, early in the ball game, and it shows you the importance of this game now, is going to the left-handed hitting Dave Parker. He'll pinch hit for Dal Maxwell. We will see a few more changes before this game runs its course, I'll tell you.
Nellie, also the importance of it. Stoneman is up now, and a guy by the name of Mike Marshall, and this is only the bottom of the fourth, so Mock has all winter to think about it, too, doesn't he?
There ain't no tomorrow, if you'll pardon the bad grammar. Parker yesterday against Mike Marshall almost tied the ball game. We thought he had a home run. It was hit so well to right field, but the conditions yesterday, rather murky and overcast, might have kept the ball in play, but he sent the right fielder, Ron Woods at that time, back on the warning track to get it at the wall. There was a runner on base at the time. Parker hitting at .283, 4 home runs. He's driven in 12. He replaces Dal Maxwell as a pinch hitter. Hernandez, I would assume, is going to play short. Bases loaded with only one down. The Expos have the infield up at third, back at first, and about halfway at short in second. Swing and a miss on a fastball. He just blew it right past him. Strike one. Fly ball will give us a run here. A base hit should give us 2. From the stretch, the 0-1 pitch. Lined right up the middle. Bounces off the mound. 3 outs, can't get it. 1 run's in. 2 runs are in. Sanguin's at third. And the Pirates lead 4-1.
That ball had eyes on it, and I mean with peripheral vision. That thing got everything but a glove getting on through there. About time we got one of them, Nellie.
I'll tell you, Bob, I thought we were going to get beat on the ball because it was hit sharply, but it hit the side of the hill and slowed it down enough where Pepe Frias thought he had a play on the ball, but he just couldn't reach it. And they want the big guy. They want Steve Renko, Bob.
Yeah, they have signaled from the bullpen that he's available, and they'll be getting him. Now the situation gets a little more on the tense side as the Pirates have a lead of 4-1. And here they're putting up on the board. A game will be played here tomorrow with San Diego at 1:35 if the Mets lose their doubleheader and the Pirates win today. Or if the Mets split and the Pirates win. Or the Mets lose their doubleheader and the Pirates and the Cardinals also lose. I thought that they had a mistake on this sheet they've handed us, Nellie. That was the thing that was bothering me. If the Mets split, and they're going to split now if they win the second game, and we win this one, we will play tomorrow. Isn't that what it says up there? It does not say that here. Game no sense. You see, it doesn't say down here, though. No game with San Diego if, but we forget that. Games with San Diego on Monday, and on our sheet here it doesn't say what it says up there. If the Mets split and the Pirates win, there will be a game played here tomorrow. So,
we're going to play baseball tomorrow.
I think there's no doubt about it. We're going to play tomorrow, and I think what'll be even better if by playing tomorrow, when we go in there, I'd like to see the Cubs beat the Mets the second game today, and while we're hopefully beating this club in San Diego tomorrow, then we'll just sit back and let them go ahead and work their pitching out. And if the Mets are tied with us when it's over, Nellie, they got to come in to play us on
Tuesday or Wednesday,
whenever they get their doubleheader done with their entire bullpen and pitching rotation thrown out of order. And I mean, I just can't think of any other combination that would make it more enjoyable. That's what we got to be hoping for, Nellie. We're down to the point where we need help from the other ball clubs now.
Yes, our fate's in the hands of the Chicago Cubs. Now let's check it on Steve Renko. His record 15-11. He pitched the other night. His earned run average, a very fine 2.80. He's had one save. This is his 36th appearance and his second appearance as a relief pitcher. Big, tall fella, 6'5", a 225-pounder, former football player at Kansas University. And I believe he was the 15th draft pick of the Oakland Raiders in football. But he chose baseball in the New York Met chain as an outfielder, first baseman. Couldn't hit that well. They turned him into a pitcher. The former Pirate manager Bill Verdon did that in Williamsport, late 1966 or 67. Well, the situation, McAnally goes 3 1/3. He's given up 3 hits, 4 runs so far. He struck out 3, he walked 2. Sanguin at third is his responsibility. And Parker at first base, also his. The batter is Jim Rooker. He was hit by a pitch off McAnally in the 3rd inning. That was our first base runner. The squeeze, and it's bunted out in front of the plate. Sanguin scores. There's a player close. No! Everybody's safe. Another run, 5-1 the Pirates lead. Still only 1 out. Parker goes into second base. And a base hit by Jim Rooker. Bob, you won't find a better executed squeeze bunt than that one on the part of Sanguin, who broke as he should have. And a great bunt by Jim Rooker.
Yeah, the bunt was very important, but the manner in which that Sanguin delayed so as not to give it away. If he starts down too soon, the pitcher has the advantage then of flattening your batter.
Oh, Cash, the 9th batter to come up in the inning. Boy, it's good to batter out for a change. Expos did that to us yesterday when they scored 5 runs. Went on to win it 6-4. Ball 1 to Dave Cash. That run charged to McAnally, 5 of them. Fly ball, left center field, base hit. Parker's going to score. Moving around second on his way to third is Rooker. The throw is into the cutoff man. Cash holds at first base. 6-1. Still only 1 out. This crowd's enjoying this one, Robert. This is the most enthusiastic crowd we've had here, I think, since opening day.
I agree with you, and unfortunately, and I wasn't trying to be critical of the Pirate fans, but I realized times are tough economically and all, but I felt that if when we came home off the Montreal trip, that we'd had 25 or 30,000 people out there rooting for us like they're rooting right here today, Nellie. It just might have made an edge. I don't know, but I realized school nights and things of that nature and the economy the way it is, but you know you're rooting wherever you are as Mock comes out now and he's going to make another change. He's had Stoneman and Marshall loosening, and we'll see to whom he'll send out the flag. But you know you're rooting wherever you are as Mock comes out now and he's going to make another change. He's had Stoneman and Marshall loosening, and we'll see to whom he'll send out the flag. I would be surprised, really, not managing. I think they're going to go with Marshall. but they haven't announced yet which man they want. She's giving them, they're waiting for the umpire to come out. Mock's in a spot here, or I think you got to try to stop us, Nellie, right at this point, because, and so therefore I would be surprised if it's anybody but Marshall. And it's got to be Marshall. And then here comes another record on the books. What's coming out of Chicago here? Nellie says okay. New York goes with Kuzman. The Cubs go with Jenkins, and normally Jenkins is tough against New York. Now remember one other thing, too. New York has won only 5 games against Chicago all year. And after some 27 innings of non-scoring, the Cubs break it open with a base hit by Cento, and Marshall runs in from the left field line. Nellie, I'll give him a chance to get everything organized. At the end of the first quarter, the Steelers lead Houston 3-0. Jarrella had an earlier field goal attempt blocked, and the Steelers have been in possession of the ball all through the first period of play, so the defenses of the Houston Oilers are being sorely tested. And as of the moment, we don't think that Franco Harris has been in, but Davis and everybody else, and Frenchie Fuqua and Pearson and company, have been going at it. So, Rich, give me, what's this? Houston scored. Oh, all right, Houston's out in front now in the second period. They've taken a 7-3 lead, but right now, Nellie, I can't be worried any more than you can about what the Steelers are doing or anybody else. I think what we got right here is what we're kind of concerned with, huh?
I would think so. This game has a lot more importance than the Steeler-Houston game, although we're interested in it. This game is the end of the season. They're just getting underway. Mike Marshall, 14 wins, 11 defeats, but 31 saves. An amazing pitcher. This is his 92nd appearance of the year. An all-time record for a pitcher. The log on McAnally is finished. 3 1/3 innings, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 3 hits. He struck out 3. He walked 2. Only 1 out here in this inning.
You're Buzzy Bavesi. Do you tell that pilot out on the West Coast to crank up and start coming?
I guess after the Mets lost that first game, he had to start cranking. Runners at first and third. Kleins pops foul out of play. Franco retired nobody. He faced 2 batters here in the 4th inning. Gave up 2 hits. The runner at third base, Jim Rooker, his responsibility. And, of course, Cash at first base. Pirates playing baseball today, as they did on a couple of occasions, but this is a must game. They have to win it. Kleins loops one into shallow right center field. Back is Frias. He's got to play. The runner will not score. Just a lazy fly ball to shallow right center field. Easy play for Frias. Now the runners hold at first and third, and it brings up Al Oliver, who got things going, drove in the tying run after the Expos had taken a 1-0 lead. Kleins got on an error by Foley, stole second, and Oliver delivered a double down the left field line past Philippe Alou. We'll check that earned run log on McAnally. I don't think these runs might not be earned at all. None of them. I stand corrected on that. I think all the runs in this inning will turn out to be unearned. But it's immaterial. We've got 6 and they have 1. And McAnally or the Expos not caring about that situation. Foul by Oliver on the screwball. First base side, strike 1. Records right now, when you're trying to stay in a pennant race, mean nothing, absolutely nothing. They are things, as Willie Stargell said, you think about on a cold winter evening when you're sitting in front of the fire, maybe having yourself a big old iron, and you're satisfied with what you did. Personally, but what the team does right now is all that matters. Cash at first, Rooker at third, 6-1 Pirates lead, 2 down. Oliver, high fly, left side, that'll do it. Coming on, Philippe Alou. The inning is a big one for the Pirates, 6 runs on 5 hits, 1 error, 2 left. And we have completed 4, and the Pirates lead 6-1. Okay.
Right.
All right, we've completed 4 innings of play here, and the Pirates have jumped on the Expos, scoring 6 times. 5 of those runs are ruled as earned, 1 of them unearned. But, Bob, I said before, statistics like that certainly don't matter to Ernie McAnally or the Expos, whether they're earned or unearned at this time of the season. They just carried about results to the final outcome of this ball game, the same for the Pirates.
That's exactly right, and we got to be praying that some other things are going to happen, and we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Pirate Baseball Network.
All the good sports are on Pirate TV Pittsburgh.
Nellie and I are sitting here figuring we got to go to bed with the Greek worry beads and everything tonight. If we can win this game, we got to figure, well, we got to beat San Diego, and all the time we're doing that, Chicago better win 3 out of 4 from the Mets, or it's all academic. Isn't that right?
So we were only 2 back, so if they lose 2 and we win, why?
What are we then?
Well, they got to lose 3. You're right. You got to lose 3 games.
Well, let's just hope that they jump on Kuzma today and nail him good. They're due to break out with a lot of run scoring. They haven't scored any runs. They've scored 1 in about 26 innings. Chicago has. In the last 26, they've only scored 1 run, so they're due to give them the Billy Williams-Santo treatment here.
The Mets had a day off Thursday. They were rained out Friday and Saturday, so they've had a little bit of inactivity there. They haven't played in 3 days. That can be tough on a hitter's timing.
Rooker now goes here to a pinch batter, and it's
Morales.
Morales batting here for Marshall. Right-hand batter, Rooker, here in the 5th. I'll tell you one thing, if Jose Morales batting at 250, right-hand batter, if the Cubs take the doubleheader from the Mets, there's a little looper hit back at first base. It sawed him off, and it's going to be trouble. Going to bounce down the line. Oliver grabs it quickly and fires it on in. He's prevented a double on a great play by Al Oliver. Running way back, getting the ball after it bounced for the base hit. Now the batter will be Philippe Falou, 0 for 2. If Chicago beats the Mets doubleheader today, I'll say the Mets are in trouble to sweep the doubleheader tomorrow. They're in deep trouble. Because they got Seaver with a bad arm, we understand. He's not the Seaver that he was earlier. But boy, when you've got to try to win doubleheaders, you are hurting. And then the reverse happens. If the Mets win the second game, then the Cubs, we can only hope the Cubs will take them 2 tomorrow. A ball. Would that eliminate the Cubs if they split today?
They can't lose a ball game.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They have to win every game.
1-0, the count to Alou. Pitch. High fly, shallow left. Back is Jackie Hernandez, who's playing it short now. And there's 1 out. Pittsburgh leading here 6-1. Gary Kuzman and Ferguson Jenkins and his orchestra tuning up for Game 2 in Chicago. Send our best wishes along to Laurie, Sue, Donna, and Steve Sunderland, brothers and sisters of the young Sunderland boy and his daddy is visiting here in the box and watching the ball game today. The pitch down, a curve on the corner for a call strike to Ron Woods. Down to the second, and he bounced out pitcher to first. Here's the 0-1, and he pops this one up along first in foul territory. Oliver's running like a bullet to get way back there, turning around, and what a play by Oliver. A great grab way down the line.
It is a difficult play for a first baseman to make or the third baseman going down the left field line. Right over the shoulder.
Two down to Bailey, who walked and bounced out to third. Pittsburgh leading 6-1. Cubs beat the Mets the first game 1-0. Jarrella kicked another field goal, so it's 7-6 Houston in the second period. Exciting time of the season. Collegiate football and everything rolling, and baseball coming to a roaring conclusion. And there are scouts all over the place that are now concentrating on the Pirates. They'll eliminate any thoughts at all, basically, of Montreal. If we're to win this game, they don't have to worry about them. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Bailey. And they'll be covering the Mets and the Cubbies, too.
The Expos have the tough situation of any win by New York, any win by the Pirates, of course, or any win by St. Louis, and they're out of it.
Here's the 0-2 outside, but what a job they've done to bring it this far.
Hey, they've done an amazing job in 5 years, and John McHale and Jim Fanning, I don't know how much credit they get, but they sure have put together a fine outfit up there.
No doubt about that, and Mock has managed this doggone ball club for everything it's worth. The pitch is a curve that missed. Told you earlier he had 2 lineups in his back pocket. He wasn't sure that Rooker was sound, so he had a Steve Blass lineup card, and he had one in the event that Rooker pitched. Whichever one was out there humming at one time in the early part before the game, both were warming, Blass and Rooker. 2-2. Outside, ball 3-2. New York scored 3 runs in the first inning off Ferguson Jenkins. So it looks like they haven't quit at all. Now the Mets are leading 3-0 in the top of the first off Fergie Jenkins. 3-2 pitch, bounced down to the shortstop. Fernandez has it. He'll go strong high, held by Oliver. He had to leap up and come down and tag the bag. That'll retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, and it is 6-1 Pittsburgh. Greg Caskey is on now. He's 0-0 on the year. He comes on here in the bottom of the 5th, none out. Marshall went 2/3 of an inning and zapped the Buccos. Here's Stargell now. He flied a singer and he struck out. Stargell, if things hold the way they are, unless Dave Johnson gets a home run today. Of course, Stargell has another game coming up tomorrow. Caskey outside the ball, in which to increase his lead, but he'll end the season basically if he can hold off Johnson here. He'll lead the majors in homers and the majors in runs batted in and the majors in doubles. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a pretty fair season. And he'll bat around the 300 mark. Any way you look at it, the big man has done it all. And he swings off the curve and fouls away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Woolley hadn't any home runs since Montreal, but I really feel that his 2 doubleheaders back-to-back just drained him quite a bit.
The 1-2 pitch. Outside into the dirt. Ball 2 strike 2.
He'll never tell you that much, I don't think.
Maybe when the season's over, but not now. Ball 2, strike 2. Boy, a season like this makes you go back and look over some games you had in hand and didn't win. You start counting them off and you sleep all night on them. Or you don't sleep, you just toss and roll. There's a ball thrown away by Caskey. And Stargell is at second on a 2-base error. Stargell hit it and threw it away from Hal Breeden, and it's a 2-base error.
Caskey was the pitcher up in Montreal that came on to relieve with runners on, second and third, first and second to Willie. And you don't hit 3-0 pitches, they say, but Willie hit the 3-0. He hit it out of the ballpark and won a ball game. And I think this time he got him out and he was so relieved he couldn't believe it. Maybe he just threw the ball away. We forgot a bridge, but we'll get it. Don't worry about it. Well,
Which one?
Pittsburgh Paints is bringing you the ball game right now.
Good. Let's paint it right on it. Here's the pitch. And the bunt by Hebner to third base. They bring in Bailey, and he'll throw to Breeden for the out. That's the execution. Leaves third base unguarded, and Scargill comes over unmolested. Good bunt by Richie Hebner. Now Zisk the batter. His base hit broke it open there in the fourth inning to drive in a couple of big runs or help us set it up.
Now this is just pure fundamental baseball here this afternoon. No power, just a little bit of everything.
I wish we'd have played it about 8 other times in this season, and then we wouldn't be worrying about playing anybody but the Cincinnati Reds, and that's enough of a worry right there. Whatever team gets in to play them better grab their best hold and hang on, I'll tell you now. You're looking at maybe the best club in the... Well, I don't know you can say the best in all of baseball because Oakland and Baltimore or something just swung their strike there.
They're going for their 100th win, and as I said, July 1st, they were only 2 games over 500, and they are now 37 over 500.
They just played sensational ball, no doubt about it. But in a 3 out of 5 series, there's this out on the run. We got a little sizzle out there for a base hit. Dodgers scores. We lead 7-1. The run is unearned. So Richie Zisk drives in his second run now here at San Gian. He went out on a pitcher the first, and he walked in the fourth inning. New York took a 3-0 lead in the first inning against Chicago. And now with Koosman pitching, somebody's going to have to light him up, and the Cubs get back in the game. That one has a long way to go. But boy, what a feeling the Mets can have, realizing that all they got to do is play 500 baseball against Chicago. They split today and figure they got to win one of the two tomorrow. That's a better feeling than anything else. Mock is coming out now, and they've got, that was Stallman or Donahue warming. It's Donahue now, or Montague, and Mock in the game up there against us. In Montreal used about 9 pitches in a row. Just get an idea what they could do and everything. He's going to take the ball off Caskey, and Montague is coming in. So Montague here in the bottom half of the 5th inning with 1 out. Coming in.
He has no record, Bob.
All right.
Not at all.
It's not the first time we've seen him. We saw him up in Montreal.
Pretty good-looking pitcher, rather almost portly, but not quite so. He's a big, strong fellow. Pretty good fastball and pretty good breaking ball the day we saw.
Gene Mock takes the ball from the man he's relieving, and the man stays out there and comes off with Mock. One time, Gene said he went out to relieve, in the game in which he went out and asked Steve Rogers, was a little worried about something, and Rogers accidentally balked a run in Chicago. So when Mock went out to talk to him and get him, Rogers was real mad and threw the ball down on the mound. And Mock says, pick that ball up and hand it to me. And Rogers picked it up and handed it to him. He said, now stay here until I bring in another man. I realized I caused you to balk by coming out when you were in the middle of a windup, but I thought you were going to throw Santo a fastball, and that's the last thing I wanted to see. And Steve says, I was just trying to get the breaking ball I wanted from my catcher. Gene says, well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to walk Santo with another man and pitch to Hickman, and won the game. But what was the point of it was that the managerial control exercised by the general, when Rogers in his disgust slammed the ball down, and Gene says, pick that ball up and hand it to me.
Of course, I guess you saw the day Chestnut threw the ball up, or
with Billy Myers.
Yeah.
Threw the ball up in the air with Billy Myers coming out to get him.
The Monkmeyer threw the rosin bag up on the mound one day, and it came down right on the head.
Right on the head. I roared. I fell right out of the booth watching that one.
It can be frustrating when you're pitching. I'll tell you, when things aren't going well, you can lose your composure.
It's not hard to do, Nellie. We even do it. We've been known to lose our composure up here in the booth, haven't we, buddy?
A few times.
Montague going now to Sangy inside for a ball. Zisk. Cubs don't score in the first inning. Mets lead there 3-0 in the second game. Kasky has gone a third of an inning. Allowed one hit. The run scored is unearned. He's responsible for Zisk, who's at first. Sangy fouls it back. 1-1. When you start talking about the games we lost that we should have won, you also have to think about the games we won that we should have lost. And there are a few of them. But I have to believe we've lost far more that we should have won than we won that we should have lost. If that makes any sense to you. And you're leading 7-1, 5-2, 7-2 in late innings, and there have been a lot of games like that we lost. That's the kind that really cremate you. Ball 1 and strike 2. Here's the pitch. Foul back. We had the Mets beat 4-1 nearly. That was the game that turned us right there.
That was probably the whole season. September the 18th, you can look at that ball game. Had we won that, the Mets would have been 4.5 back. They won it. It turned out to be 2.5. That's really where the season has all been wrapped up.
As far as getting him back in there, that is absolutely correct. And I'll go back to that first game in San Francisco, and I'll see that single on 98 if I live to be that old, 1-2. And Sangy hits a looper in the shallow left, and the Lou's not going to get to it. Comes out for a base hit. Sangy's on his way to second, and he gets there with a double. No, they're going to give him a single. That's a double. But they're going to rule single. Heck, they had no way in the world. They didn't even make a play on him. The ball was thrown up to third. Sanguin was halfway to second on the play, but they ruled single and second on the throw. That's a double, I'm afraid. But I'm not going to argue with the official score at this point. Here's Hernandez in. Even Bill Christine leaned over and shook his head no. I don't know how you can say there. There was no way they were going to be able to get Sangy, and he was halfway to second by the time Lou got the ball. His only play really was to try to throw to third to get Zisk. There was no other play that he had. Hernandez takes it low, ball 1. What I'm trying to get, in other words, is a double for Sangy.
You know, of all the problems the Pirates have had this year, and they've had their share, there's still one thing about them. They run every doggone play out.
They do that.
To their pitch.
The 1-0 is outside corner called strike 1.
A lot of clubs around this league that don't do that.
Quit, you bet. 1-1 the count. The infield for the Expos is up. We're in the 5th inning. Runners at second and third. Pirates leading 7-1. And all they can do now is hope. Come on, Chicago. Here's the pitch in low, ball 2, but we'll play if this score is, we're on top at the end of the day. You better be here tomorrow, 1:35, because while there's life, there is hope. And we have to play San Diego tomorrow. Ball 2, strike 1 to Hernandez. Strike swinging, 2-2. The chance, Nellie, I want to say, and I know you'll join me in this. Young man at the plate right here never gripes about a thing. He's had to play the underdog role. He's always happy, and he's doing the best he can at all times. His name is Jackie Hernandez. 2-2 pitch from Montague. Tough foul, no play. Never heard a peep out of him. Been nothing but an absolute fantastic team man. He thinks only of the team and never of himself.
It's not a bad trait to have, I'll tell you, on a ball club. He's somehow ready to play baseball. He's always ready. A lot of guys let themselves get out of shape, griping about things.
2-2. Heat foul off third. Every time I see him, his eyes light up with a big smile, and he says, "Un beso y adios in Espanol." I'll tell you what you can do with that one. Kiss it goodbye. He wore that little goatee, and I said to him, "You look like a Chinese Cuban." He said, "What'd you say?" And boy, they're all over him in the clubhouse, teasing him about it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Jackie is down. That's going to bring up Rooker, who should get a great hand for his performance here today.
Get a pretty good hand for that bunt he laid down in that 6-run 4th inning.
Where'd we be without Rooker, Nelly? A lot of disappointments in our season, but what an acquisition Jim has been, huh?
Well, I think, they were saying about Steve Blass being the reason for the Pirates' failure this year. He might be, but, Rooker got a chance to pitch, and he certainly filled a big role there.
That he did. That he did. Now the infield is back as Rooker 1 for 1. He got hit by a pitch in the 3rd. He singled on a bunt in the 4th, diving in and run on a squeeze. Takes the ball outside. Well, there's no doubt about it, and our hearts ache for Steve Blass. If he's Steve Blass of last year, we win it easy. But can't put it all on Steve's shoulders.
No way.
Swing and a miss. 1-1. There are too many other guys involved.
If he was that important, he should have gotten all the credit for winning last year.
Yeah. Ball 1 and strike 1. On the corner, call strike 2. Don't think Steve Blass's heart isn't broken, because it is. Let me tell you something. You hardly know what to say to him other than just hello. New York didn't score in the 2nd, so it's 3-0 Cubs at bat against Kuzman. We got a long way to go in that game. Got a funny feeling Williams is going to light somebody up. 1-2 pitch. Down underneath from Montague. Ball 2, strike 2. Tell you, there's another factor, too. If it's overcast and everything, they might not get to finish that game, in which case they'd have to... There is a very interesting little ruling there. Darkness now sets in that 2nd game, and they can't finish it. Foul back. They'd have to finish it tomorrow, which would mean 2 regularly scheduled games in the other one, and that'd be the first time they've ever come close to a triple header since we did it at Forbes Field against the Cincinnati Reds years ago, and that's the last scheduled 3 games in one day. But they'd have to start it tomorrow, which would mean maybe about 10 in the morning, because otherwise you never get the other doubleheader finished. That's interesting, isn't it? Come on, play a little darkness. Eat up some pitching. Rooker, a drive in the right field base hit. It's going to score 2 runs. Fire up those engines, San Diego, and get coming here. We'll see you tomorrow at 1:35. Now the Buccos lead 9-1. I think they're arguing over here with Luke Quay on giving a single to Parker, or rather to Sanguin instead of a double. He didn't see it that way. Well, let them argue amongst themselves. It's academic.
Very academic.
The batter is Cash, 1 for 3. He pitched to him with 2 out. Montague is on there with a strike.
I hardly think Manny Sanguin's contract for next year or this ball game is going to rest on whether that was called a double or a single.
I would think it's not even in his mind right now. Here's the pitch. In on the corner. Yeah, I said it's tough to think of playing Cincinnati, but I'd sure like that chance. Ground ball now to second. Pepe Frias comes up, throws across for the out. The side is all right. 1, 2, 3 runs.
All runs in the inning are not earned.
The runs in the 5th inning are.
The runs are on debut, discharged to his personal record as an earned run.
All right.
Ryan Sanguin's run discharged to on debut record as an earned run. But all runs in the inning are unearned.
All right, all the runs in the inning are unearned, but they will charge Montague with 1 run because of the should have got the side out. There again, it's academic. It's 1, 2, 3 runs on 2 hits 1 error and 1 left. At the end of 5, Pittsburgh leading 9-1. The Cardinals are beating the Phillies 2-0 at the end of 4, so they're on their way to the sweep there. And they, like us, are hoping for New York to get popped, a doubleheader. In the event that we play the Padres tomorrow, and it looks like we're going to, for all you reserve parking tenants, use rain date coupon A. And if we are victorious and then completed and compelled to play New York October 2nd, you'll use rain date coupon B. We'll tell you more about it. What a play by Hernandez on a drive off to his right. A ball hit by Hal Breeden, and Hernandez speared it backhanded. Unbelievable. He's doing it all. Now here's Ken Singleton. He drew a walk and he singled in the 4th, and he scored the Expos' only run. Radio Rich, come on and tell me that Billy Williams has hit a grand slam home run, or that Ron Santos hit one. Get me 3 or 4, somehow or other. Ball hit out to Stargell, deep. Singleton grabbed it. The ball sank on him. Singleton, the line drive out to down.
St. Louis is getting unbelievable pitching. They've given up only 1 run in their last 4 games, and so far throughout this afternoon's game, I think 4 or 5 innings, they've got another shutout going. So that pitching has been carrying them. They are tied with the Pirates in the loss column. If we win today, we got to win tomorrow to stay tied with them.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd like a 4-place tie. If we beat Montreal, that gets it down to at least a chance of 4. I'd like the shot at 4. I think it'd be kind of fun to be in on that kind of history in baseball, Nellie. Think we could live through it?
Like to try it?
1-0. High to Bacabella. 2-0. Bucks 9, Expos 1. We're in the 6th. Come on, Chicago, or come on, rain and dusk. That'd be funny. Have that game rained out. Swing, 2-1. What'd be even funnier is to see them get ahead 4-3, and then the rains come down at the end of 6. Oh, Yogi Berra would be climbing some trees. Ball 2, strike 1. And a strike call, 2-2. Remember one year I rooted like the dickens for a 3-way tie between the Cardinals and 2 other clubs. And Dick Grote had been traded from the Pirates to the Cardinals, and he took exception to it. He thought I was rooting against him. I said, no, Richard, I wasn't rooting against you. I just wanted to see a 3-way tie. I'd never seen that before. There's a base hit up the middle by Bacabella. That's the 5th hit of the game. I don't think to this day I've been able to convince Dick Grote that I wasn't rooting against him. It wasn't personal at all. I just wanted to see a 3-way tie. I'd like to see a 4-way right now. I really would.
That was in 1964.
That's right.
Cincinnati, the Phillies, and the St. Louis.
That's right. I was rooting like mad for a 3-way tie. Just see what had happened. I'm rooting like mad now for a 4-way tie. What do you think of that? There's a pop-up. It's playable, I think. Sanguin's coming back toward the screen, and it's on the screen, so it's strike 1. Jim Foley drove in the Expos run with a sacrifice fly. At the half, 7-6 Steelers, trailing by the point of 6-7 Steelers in Houston.
They just can't score a touchdown down in that indoor place. That's a tough place.
Yeah, that Houston club's been on the defense throughout the whole first half. You watch it, if everything goes well in the second half, they won't be able to change headgears down there. Where they're getting a pounding from there. I don't think they played Franco yet. And they're playing Fuqua and Pearson and Davis. They're running at them all over the place. Ground ball hit backhanded to Rooker. He throws out Foley. Foley carried his bat down at first, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, is he going to get mad now? But he's not. He's just carrying it very casually off the line.
It's something to Rooker as he went by him. Now he broke the bat.
Yeah.
Gonna throw his helmet.
He's still in the game. Nothing in one, no runs, one hit, no errors, and one left. End is 5.5, 9-1 Pittsburgh.
Basically.
Pirates in the sixth inning. Kleins, Oliver, and Stodgel against Montague, who is the fifth pitcher for the Expos. Kleins is 0 for 3, got a board on an error, stole a base, and scored a very big run in that fourth inning to tie up the game. And then the Bucks went on to score 5 more times and take a 6-1 lead and put 3 more on the boards in the fifth. The 3 runs were unearned runs. Now Kleins, who struck out, got on the error and popped the second. Faces Montague. Here's a look in the 0-1. Tell you one thing, Nellie and I had the pleasure of watching, and the pleasure in one way. We're in on the baseball history. We saw a man do the unbelievable Iron Man stunt. Greatest pitching performer ever, Mike Marshall in relief. He set the record against us here when he passed Wayne Granger and added to it here this afternoon. So, Nellie, we sat in on some baseball history.
You've seen a few over the years. It's a rather memorable feat, I'll tell you. It's something, particularly all the cold weather they have there early in the year.
He's just a remarkable man. Kleins apparently has been stuck with the pitch on the right forearm, and Tony Barterome is coming out. Right under the right wrist there. Nellie put the glasses on him and double check it. I think they'll just spray him. Freeze it a little bit, take the vein out, and reduce the swelling. Where are they doing it, Nellie? Right by the elbow? You got the on the forearm, right forearm?
It shouldn't be. It's not on the top part where the meat is, the muscle.
Hang in there and be an Oriole. Well, here is Al Oliver, second leading man in doubles in the major leagues, second only to his teammate Wilbur Darnell Stodgel. He doubled in the fourth inning. He drove in the tying run. He later came around to score the lead run. The Bucks have now increased the lead to 9-1. Nobody out. Pitches from Montague, low, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. Mets leading 3-0 in the second inning against Chicago. They lost the first game. That means we play San Diego. Throw to first, and Kleins is back. We play them tomorrow at 1:35. Bruce Keeson will pitch for us, the staff, if necessary, for the Padres. Ball 2. Their season ended yesterday, as did the Dodgers.
I think they're going to use Randy Jones, who's pretty good left-handed pitcher.
Sure. And we ain't too sharp against lefties this year. We haven't been. But tomorrow we might have more adrenaline flowing than we've had when we played them before. Another throw to first, and this time back in safely. Kleins. 2-0 to Oliver. Joe pitch, jammed him, fouled it back. Ball 2 and strike 1. Today marked the retirement of a grand gentleman, Eddie Dunn, the chief of the ground crew. 47 years. He'll retire at the end of this present football season. So the first of the game, Kleins is back. What a grand gentleman. A gift from Art Rooney, from Dan Galbraith, and from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Recognition from all concerned. Foul back. Oliver ripping, trying to hit it into left center. Ball 2, strike 2. Somebody down there made a sensational grab. Diego Segui is pitching for the Cardinals in the 5th inning, so the Phillies are running at him. Ball 2, strike 2. The pitch. Inside, ball 3. Shane Deans has had his contract renewed for this next season. Gene Mock had his extended through the 75 season. 3 ball, 2 strike pitch. Throw over, and Kleins just gets back. Ball 3 and strike 2. Once again, we're ready. And a throw to first, and again, Kleins is back. Must be suspicious that we might be trying to run on a 3-2 pitch with none out. Now Kleins calls time, goes off to decide to... Now he's back there, just brushing off his trousers. 3-2 the count. We're running, and the ball's hit high into right center, very deep. Singleton, however, is going to have room for this one. He has it. Lyons will come back, and here comes Willie Stargell. 0 for 2 is Wilbur. For the Expos, it's home to Montreal and disbursement to their various homes throughout the country. For the Pirates, awaiting the arrival of the Padres tomorrow. Stargell takes one into the dirt. Running up into second is Kleins on a wild pitch. That opened up a base for them to do what they wish, if necessary, with Stargell the batter. I said to you before, I don't know how many times I saw a situation like that with McCovey at the plate and Willie Mays at first, and they're going to walk Stargell. See, Mays would have taken the pitch and stayed right there at first base, making them pitch to McCovey. So there goes the intentional pass. Here go to Hebner. Gene Mock one time had that happen to him where Mays was at first base, and they threw up a wild pitch or fastball, and Mays stayed at first base in order to make him pitch to McCovey in a tight situation. Mock figured in his own mind, well, had Mays gone to second, I would have walked McCovey, so he walked McCovey, forcing Mays to go to second base, and pitched out of the trouble. Now it's Hebner, who is 0 for 1. He walked and sacrificed. He scored a run. And he pops it up into shallow left, going back Foley. Coming up, Alou. It is Foley. No infield fly rule call there. His back was to the diamond. He was running away, and they're 2 down. So by running up there on that wild pitch, they took a bat away from Stargell. Now here's Richie Zisk, who's 2 for 3. Scored a pair of runs and has driven in a pair. Pirates leading 9-1. Be with us tomorrow. We need all the help we can get. We're playing the Padres at 1:35. Bruce Keeson and Randy Jones. Nothing in further, I don't suppose, on the New York game. It's 3-0 still. Kuzman working there. Early in the second contest, the Cubs won the first game 1-0. Here's the pitch, and it's into the dirt for a ball. Montague, 1 ball, 1 strike to Zisk, 2 out, 2 on. Pittsburgh 9, Montreal 1 in the bottom of the 6th. The Cubs pick up a pair and have now closed within 1 of the New York Mets. It's 3-2 New York as the Cubs get a pair. That a way to go. Come on, Chicago. End of 2 innings. It's 3-2 now. New York leading by 1. At the end of 2 innings in a game that might not even get finished because of darkness. There's a drive. Base hit. Left field. And Kleins will score. Stargell stops at second base. The batter, Manny Sanguin, he's 1 for 2, has scored a pair of runs. Wallace now pitching for Philadelphia in the 5th inning. At the end of 4 1/2, the Cardinals leading the Phillies 2-1. Pittsburgh leading here 10-1. Come on, Chicago. Do something for Frank Oshry and me. L'Enfant Plaza, D.C. Swing and a miss. No balls, 1 strike. 10-1 the count. Stargell at second, Zisk at first. Pittsburgh leading 10-1 in the bottom of the sixth. Sangui in the batter. Swings on a change and fouls it off the left side. Count 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Jackie Hernandez on deck if Manny keeps it rolling. Once again, the delivery. He goes down swinging on a high slider. That'll retire the side. But the Bucks get another run. 1 hit, no errors by Montreal, and spanned a pair. At the end of 6, Pittsburgh leading 10-1. Your host has been Colorful Pittsburgh Paints, a product of PPG Industries. The final innings of today's game brought to you by Iron City Beer. When you're really ready to pour on the iron. Leading 10-1, the Cubs have scored a pair to come within 1. At the end of 2 1/2, it's 3-2 New York. If the Cubs can win that one, the Bucks are in great shape if they can beat San Diego tomorrow, for the Cubs will have to try to play along with New York a doubleheader tomorrow where the chances are more likely there for a split than anything. But you never know. But I'll guarantee you one thing, the way it's going right now, Nellie, we won't know anything much before 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
All right, Bob. Pepe Frias was to be the leadoff batter here, but the Expos are going to a pinch hitter, Barry Foote, who is a promising young catcher in their minor league system earlier this year, brought up at the tail end of the season, has done pretty well as a pinch hitter. He's batting at .600. He's gone 3 for 5 as a pinch hitter. Right-handed batter. He's batting for Pepe Frias. They're in the bottom of the third now at Chicago. And the Mets leading there 3-2. Kuzman and Jenkins dueling in game number 2. Here's a pitch underway to Foote. Line drive right field. He's got his 4th hit in 6 times at bat. Man, he's liking National League pitching rather. Line the ball into right field off the fist. That'll bring up the pinch hitter, Clyde Mayshore, for the pitcher. And I believe a pinch runner is going to come in the ball game now, replacing Foote at first base. Maybe Larry Lynch. I believe that's who it'll be. No change there. Lynch had been coming in. Time was called, but Foote stays at first base. The batter is Mayshore. He takes a curve for a strike. Mayshore hitting at .206, a right-handed hitter. 10-1, Pirates leading, 7th inning. Curve a little bit too high. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Figures. 33,376. Disregards the total of 1,317,341. Paid 3,376.
They're through 3 innings out in Chicago, and the Mets lead 3-2. Going to the top of the 4th inning. The count is 2 balls and a strike on Clyde Mayshore. Pirates leading 10-1 here in the 7th inning. A 6-run 4th inning started it off for the Bucks. Swing and a miss by Mayshore. Strike 2. Fastball. Mayshore batting for John Montague. Fastball away by Rooker. Full count of 3-2. Cardinals out in the 5th inning. They lead 2-1 over the Philadelphia Phillies. Swing and a miss. Mayshore goes down swinging on a fastball that ran away from him. Rick Wise has come on in the 6th inning to replace Alan Foster, or Segui. Foster started. Segui in the 5th, and now Wise pitching in the 6th inning. so possibly he ran into problems. Strikeout by Rooker is his second. And it brings up Philippe Lou, the left fielder, who has gone 0 for 3. Oliver playing off the bag behind the runner at first. Barry Foote. Here's the pitch to Lou. Fastball away. Ball 1. Pirates with a win here and against San Diego tomorrow can wind up even 500. And with that, still have a chance possibly for a tie. Fastball away, 2 balls and no strikes on Philippe Lou. The attendance today, 33,376. With 1 game remaining, season attendance, 1,317,341. Lou hits one off the bat down the right field line in foul territory, and it's Oliver went into the railing, and I think he hit his lip on there, his face. He took it a pretty good blow. One of the fans sticking their hands out, interfering with the ball a bit. Oliver, I don't think, had a play on it, but he went right into the railing, and I think he banged his nose or his mouth on the railing. Tony Barterone taking a look at it. Oliver wiping his nose a bit. I believe got a bit of a cut above his lip. He's going to be all right, though. Good, honest effort by Scoops, and almost came up with a looping foul ball off the end of the bat by Philippe Lou. The count 2 balls and a strike on him. The Mets failed to score in the 4th inning. They continue to lead 3-2 as the Cubs bat in the bottom of the 4th against Jerry Koosman. Ron Santo drove in the winning and the only run in the first ball game. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Lou. Fly ball deep down the left field line, hooking foul out of play. Count is 2-2. Philippe Lou does a lot of television radio work in the Dominican Republic. They'll be carrying their games in the Winter League ball. Dave Parker, I believe, will be heading down that way at the end of October. The 2-2 pitch. Line drive, deep left center field. Back is Stargell, still going. He's got it. Moving back to first base, Barry Foote. Hey, a well-hit ball by Lou, but Stargell got a good beat on it. And got there in time to get it in left center field. Ball today does not appear to be carrying as well as it did a couple nights ago here when the Phillies were in. Ball's really popped out of here. And that ball, I thought, had a chance to get up against the boards, but Stargell got it on the warning track. 2 down, Foote at first base where he opened with a pinch single. And the batter is Ron Woods. He's gone 0 for 3. Right-handed hitter deep in the box. Rooker's pitch to him is a fastball away, ball 1. Right, from Newcastle. The 1-0 pitch, low and away, ball 2. The pitch to Woods is popped up out of play down the left field line. And the count is 2 balls and a strike. Phillies are out in the 6th inning against Rick Wise. Cardinals lead 2-1. Matt Flecken, I said, from radio station WKST in Newcastle on our Pirate Network, stopping by to say hello. Foote at first base. The pitch to Woods, swing and a miss on a breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rooker came on and filled the big role when Glass was taken out of the starting rotation. And he has done very well since then. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt, blocked by Sanguian. Foot started to go, but wisely holds at first base. His run means nothing right now. 10-1 the score. The Pirates leading. Rooker's earned run average 2.90. He's had 17 starts, 5 complete games. Best percentage of any of the starters. The 3-2 pitch. High fly to center, not very deep. Climbs coming on, should get there. He will. That'll retire the Expos in the 7th inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Pirates lead 10-1. Jackie Hernandez will lead off the 7th inning. He'll be followed by Jim Rooker as the crowd here rising, enjoying the 7th inning stretch with a lead of 10-1. The announcement made by Art McKinnon that the Pirates, should they continue to hold a lead, will play the Padres here tomorrow at 1:35. Box and reserve C-Plan season ticket holders are advised to use coupon A. Box and reserve seats and general admission tickets are on sale right now and after this game at the advanced ticket windows in the main lobby behind and below Gate A. Bill Stoneman, a new pitcher for the Expos, will pitch to Hernandez here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He is the 6th pitcher of the afternoon for Gene Mock. Hernandez swings and misses, strike 1. Stoneman started up in Montreal the other day, pitched a good ball game for a while, and then he had to leave. Caskey came on and replaced him, and Starcher hit a 3-run homer off Caskey. Looping ball down the right field line, giving chase Singleton. He can't get there. It's a foul ball, bouncing off the fence near the Pirate bullpen. Stoneman's record 4-8. He had arm problems earlier this year, and had he been healthy, or had Baylor Moore had the kind of year that they thought he was going to have, the Expos, I'm sure, would be looking at a different situation too. Just about everybody in this Eastern Division could say that. One pitcher can make a difference. Curve away, 1 ball and 2 straight. Wentz has gone to second base, replacing Frias. Stoneman's had only 17 starts. Has not had a complete ball game. He has been their big pitcher. Hernandez going back for another bat, evidently broke the bat. Eddie Casco fired as the manager of the Red Sox, announced earlier today. He had 1 year remaining on a 2-year contract. He'll remain as a scout for the Sox. Darrell Johnson, who had been a catcher, and will become the manager for 1974. Hernandez loops one down the left field line. It's drifting foul, out of play, and we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Pirate Baseball Network.
Someplace special.
Headshot just. Hernandez fouls again. This one down the right field line. He's playing a little baseline tennis or something here with somebody. Foul the right field line, foul down the left, foul down the right. He went up the middle. Steelers have taken a 12-7 lead on a touchdown on a missed extra point. It was blocked. They lead Houston. Foul back out of play and into the press box. And I think somebody over there almost got hit right in the mouth with it. Here's a pitch. It's a check swing and foul at the feet of Bacabella. It's in the 3rd quarter down in Houston. Steelers leading 12-7. Ground ball hit weakly to third. Bailey one-hands the ball. His throw in time to get Hernandez. 1 down. Parker replaced Dal Maxwell in the 4th inning. In a pinch hitting role. Drove in 2 big runs in that inning. Bernie McAnally, and that brought on Steve Renko. That's when the Pirates really weren't rolling. The key base hit in that inning was the base hit by Dave Parker. One down. Jim Rooker, the batter, he's had a good afternoon. He's hit by a pitch, got a bunt single, a squeeze play, drove in a run, looped a single in the 5th inning to drive in 2 more. He's had 3 RBIs on the afternoon, 5 on the season. Cubs are out in the 4th inning. The Mets lead 3-2 there behind Jerry Koosman. They won the front ball game. Chicago won it 1-0. Bob Locker was the winner in that game, and Matt Black lost it. Ron Santo driving in the only run. Rooker swings and misses on a curveball from Stillman. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pop-up off the first base side in foul territory near the catcher's area. He's going to make it in the on-deck circle. He's got it. John Bacabella retires Rooker on a foul pop. 2 down, nobody on, 10-1. Pirates lead, bottom of the 7th, Dave Cash, the batter. Dave had one of the 5 hits in that 6-run 4th to drive in a run. Cash is finished with a flourish and played the type of baseball the last 3 weeks. Dave Augustine will pinch hit for Gene Kleins, replacing him. He was hit by a pitch in the previous inning, and quite possibly that's the reason for the change. Augustine, a good defensive player, but Kleins hit by a pitch. Montague hitting him to open up the 6th inning. He leaves the ball game. Augustine batting at .333.
Here's some information on Randy Jones, who is scheduled to pitch for San Diego, will be playing here tomorrow. He's a left-handed pitcher, 23 years old. He's been called up on June 16th from the Texas.
Augustine, a right-handed batter, takes a curveball, strike 1.
With a 2.01 ERA. This season at San Diego, he's 6-6. His ERA is 3.16. He's been in 19 games, 18 starts. Complete.
Augustine swings and foul tips held by Bacabella. The count on 2. In the background, the information on Randy Jones, who's a left-hander. He'll be pitching tomorrow against the Pirates in that San Diego ball game that was rained out on July the 21st.
He was not involved in the decision.
Another one of the bizarre parts of the 73 season. Ground ball to third base. Bailey up. He has the force at second. That'll retire the Pirates. No runs on a hit. No errors. 1 left. We've completed 7. The Pirates lead 10-1.
Inning now, and we have some information. Tomorrow when we play the San Diego Padres at 1:35, box and reserved C plan, C as in Charlie plan, season ticket holders should use coupon A. Box and reserved seats and general admission tickets are on sale now at the advanced ticket windows outside underneath gate A. Box and reserved seats will also be available tomorrow at the Ticketron outlets, and the stadium ticket windows will be open tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll play the Padres at 1:35, and hope before we play them that the Cubs will have come on to beat the Mets a doubleheader. They trailed there by a run, 3-2. They won the first game. Swinging a foul back by Bailey. Now the Cubs are now batting in the bottom of the 5th. New York leads there 3-2. An interesting factor with the weather problem there. It's only 3 o'clock. But should they not be able to complete that game, they'd have to resume it when they next play. And would they resume it tomorrow before a doubleheader? Or would they rule that they resume it, play one game and another game the following day? That would have to be a league decision. Send our best wishes along to Joy McHugh, recuperating in Mercy Hospital, a great Pirate fan. Fly ball by Bailey, left center, flashing over Augustine, back on the warning track and grabs it. Augustine having batted for Gene Kleins and remained in the game. So there's one down in the 8th inning, Pittsburgh leading 10-1. And we go now to Hal Breeden, who has a double and 3 at-bats.
Three hitter against Cincinnati last week.
Randy Jones and Bruce Kisa tomorrow, and I would assume by now the Padres are about ready to be underway if they're not already on their way in. Never seen anything like this in all of baseball. Base hit by Breeden. In the left center, single, his second and 4 at-bats, a double and a single now. Singleton, who walked, singled, and scored the lone run for the Expos, and who lined to left field, is now the batter. The shadows now creeping out on the first base side, and it's brilliant sunlight in center and in left and off the left side of the diamond. 33,376 have paid attendance here today. Curveball or breaking ball of some sort to the outside corner for a call strike.
3-2 on the other side.
End of 5, it's 3-2. The New York Mets lead the Cubs with Kuzman still pitching. And Jenkins for the Cubbies. In the second game, there hasn't been an earner. You mean the New York Mets scored 300 runs and the Cubs scored 200 runs. Well, that's interesting. Playing baseball under extreme pressure. Here's the 1-1. High for a ball, 2-1. Pittsburgh leading 10-1 in the 8th inning.
Andy Russell.
Fly ball down the right line. That's trouble. Extra bases. And Breeden is coming to third, and they'll hold him up on a double by Singleton. Pittsburgh's Bradshaw went in for a touchdown to take a lead over the Oilers, and then Girella had the extra point block. He's also had a field goal block. Now what's happened, Nellie? You got something there?
Just informed that Andy Russell went 45 yards with an intercepted pass and scored a touchdown. The defense got on the board.
Well, they've been in the game because until Bradshaw scored that touchdown, I don't think the Steelers had scored in the Dome in a couple of years. Mel Wright is coming out now to do a little talking here. 10-1 the score. The Pirates have the 10. And at the end of 6 innings, the Cardinals, in a game they must win, lead the Phillies 2-1. Like Nellie pointed out, their pitching in the last several games has been unbelievable. They got an ERA got to be under 1. In the last 5 or 6 games, they haven't allowed anybody to score, have they, Nellie?
The Cardinals have given up 2 runs in the last. This is the 5th game. They gave up a run yesterday and 1 today.
That's got to be under 1 for an ERA, then. That's some kind of pitching. And the only thing they can hope for is that the Cubs win 4. All right, now the conference over. Bacabella the batter. And a ball hit off the end of the bat down into center is going to score a pair. They're holding up the runner, but and he'd have scored easily, but Bristol made a smart move. There's no sense in trying to bring that man in. He doesn't mean a doggone thing in this case. Bacabella hit one off the end of the bat up into the middle, driving in a run, sending Singleton to third. Makes it 10-2.
We have activity, Bob. Ramon Hernandez and Dave Justy starting to throw.
Well, they haven't worked in a couple of days. They ought to be ready.
At least one.
A strike is called here to Tim Foley, who's 0 for 2. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Time call, a piece of paper blowing around, and both Olson and the batter missed it, and the ball, the hot dog wrapper, rolls over toward the Montreal dugout. 0-1 the count. Runners at first and third. Pittsburgh leading 10-2, and we're in the 8th. Pitch to Foley. Ball outside from Rooker. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Dick Stewart that got a hot dog wrapper in Fenway Park one day, and he said it's the biggest ovation he ever got.
That he ever heard. He got a big one day when I called a grand slammer for him in Cincinnati. But he was 300 miles away from here in the ovation. The Steelers were playing, I think, the New York football Giants at Pitt Stadium, and the Giants had broken out of the huddle. And just as they came to the line of scrimmage, they heard me holler Grand Slam Stewart in 60, and a roar that's unbelievable. And they called time. They couldn't hear their own signal. Foul back, and Stewart said, doggone it, wouldn't you know I'd missed the greatest ovation of my life. Wasn't even there to hear it.
They're saying Willie Stargell got quite an ovation here last Sunday when he hit a home run up in Montreal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Fans would be listening to the game.
Three-run homer?
Three-run homer while off Caskey while they were here watching the Steelers win. A ball and 2 strikes. To Foley. Rooker checks his runner at first. And it's a weak one back to Rooker. And he goes to the plate, and they tag the runner. He bobbled the ball and came to the plate. And he tags the runner for the out. It's a 1-2 out on Singleton. Put Bacabella up at second and put Foley on first on a fielder's choice. And bring up Pepe Frias, who is 1 for 3 with a single in the 7th inning. Check that.
It's Larry Lentz.
Larry Lentz.
He came in to replace Frias defensively.
Well, they batted with Foot for Frias, so Lentz is now in there, and he's a switch batter, batting right-handed, of course. Two down, runners at first and second in the 8th inning. Pittsburgh leading 10-2. Now the pitch. Fine away for a ball. I would think one of the things we'd try to do here today is, when I'm down in the field after the ball game, is try to find out if there's going to be an awful lot of people remain here, of the 33,000. If there's anything going for Chicago, I'll kind of look up at you, Nellie, and if you give me an up sign if the Cubbies are making a rally, let me know and shoot me a sign and I'll announce it.
All right.
2-0 the count. I'll keep my eyes on you while you're talking to Willie Stargell. Ball 2 and no strikes. And in there is Rooker. 2-1. Two down, runners at first and second in the 8th inning. Foul back by Larry Lentz. Jim Cox is on deck. Should Larry Lentz keep it rolling? But he didn't. He struck out on a breaking ball. And Rooker's been some kind of pitcher. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. And we go now to the bottom of the 8th inning and the score. The Pirates 10 and the Expos 2. All right, Baylor Moore is in to pitch now. Becomes the 7th pitcher. Stallman, Montague, Caskey, Marshall, Renko, and McAnally in that order. And McAnally is on the hook for this one today. Into the bottom of the seventh at St. Louis, the Cardinals lead the Phillies 2-1. Into the bottom of the seventh in Atlanta, it's 3-4-5-2 Houston. And no home runs by Henry Aaron. We have no way of knowing where the Henry is playing. Ooh. Oh, Aaron is gone. Radio Rich is called down to Atlanta.
He's up this inning.
And he's up this inning, and he's gone 3 for 3 with no home runs. Radio Rich has been on that horn for us. He's called Chicago. And we'll keep you on the right up to date on our radio audience, what's going there. Aaron has gone 3 for 3, but no home runs as he's swinging for everything in the house. Hey, New York just hit a big homer for Cleon Jones in the sixth with one on, and that is a big, big blow. That makes it 5-2 now. The Mets, Cleon Jones in the sixth inning, one on, and it's now 5-2. Mets are still batting. There's a base hit in the right by Al Oliver. So what we got to hope for now tomorrow, if it keeps going this way, is a split today, but tomorrow a doubleheader victory. Here's Stargell. Stargell is 0 for 3. Drove in or came in around to score in the fifth inning. When we, with a wild pitch, had our runner move into second base, we opened up the base then, and they immediately walked Stargell. He said earlier, many times I saw Willie Mays on a wild pitch just stay right at first base and make him pitch to McCovey. Baylor Moore sends a strike. Oliver checks, and there's a bouncer weakly down to first, fair ball. They step on first, they got to tag the runner, and they say he did. The play went 3 unassisted and out to Foley. 3-6. So it's 2 down. And the batter is Hebner, who grounded a second, walked, sacrificed, and popped to short. The way things are going right now, somewhere along the line of ball games where we had a great big lead and lost it, any one of those games would have ensured a playoff tie with the New York Mets. Any one of those you want to pick out. You can go all the way back to the time Nellie and I were talking to you from San Francisco in the early part of the season. Had a 7-1 lead and never got the third out. You can take that game, you can take any game you want and win it. And you don't need to worry about whether they're splitting, because the way things are going now, we'd be having to play the Mets. But we didn't win it. I'm sure, however, the Mets had some games somewhere along the line got away from them too, Nellie. That's why they play this game over 162. Who did? Henry Aaron popped up. His record, Babe Ruth's mark, will not be passed. He'll end at 713 unless they tie it up and he gets an extra shot. Aaron will conclude the 1973 season with 713 runs. Opening day for Atlanta should draw a sellout crowd, and he'll be going for it then. Unless they're able to come on and tie it up and give him another shot. Hebner takes it high, ball 3. The home run by Cleon Jones comes at a very big time for the Mets. Inside low, Hebner walks. That's the fourth walk, and that'll bring up Richie Fisk, who got a hot bat today. 3 singles, driving in 3 runs, scoring a pair.
Well, but I think we were talking about Cleon Jones that last game in here, and then we went to New York, and he suddenly looked like he was swinging a bat. He was going to hurt some people, and
He did. But it's down to what you and I were just talking about. You can go back over a lot of games we really had it won. Bouncer down to third, fair ball. They're going to go up to second base in time for the out. Just win one of those, which we didn't. And you wouldn't be worrying about what the Mets were doing in the second game today. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. End of 8, 10-2 in favor of Pittsburgh.
Well, Jim Rooker has pitched well in this ball game. Has 3 more outs to go. He leads 10-2. An easy performance after the Pirates broke it open with a 6-run 4th inning, batting around against Ernie McAnally, Steve Renko, and finally Mike Marshall, making his 92nd appearance of the year. Came out to get the final out. 10-2, leadoff batter is Ron Fairley, pinch hitting for Baylor Moore. Ron Fairley is hitting at .299. He bunts off the third base side. It's foul. Fairley hit 300 one other time in his long major league career, 1961. Fairley's hit 17 home runs, driven in 49. Beat us a couple of ball games earlier this year with home runs. Beat Nellie Browse here in an extra inning game. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's just trying to get on base now. Mets scored 2 runs on that home run by Cleon Jones. They lead 5-2. Cubs batting in the bottom of the 6th. Bunt, foul, back out of play. New York leading Chicago on a home run by Cleon Jones with 1 on in the 6th, his turn. Koosman against Fergie Jenkins. We lead here 10-2 in the 9th inning. Fairley pops foul. It's drifting out of play behind the Expo dugout on the third base side. The attendance today, 33,376. Cardinals are running at the Philadelphia Phillies. Brandon now scarce in the 7th inning. These 2 losses of the Phillies certainly didn't help us at all. Very tough ones. High fly to left center field. Augustine drifting over. Stargell too. Augustine wants it. He's got it. 1 down. Wayne Granger. That's the American League. I'm not worried about that one at all. See in New York, and I thought it was the Mets. That other league doesn't interest me at all today. Polipaloo, the left fielder, 0 for 4 last time, lined deep to left field, takes a pitch outside, ball 1. Here's a 1-0 pitch, foul, back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. From Monaca, yes sir. Group from the American Legion in Monaca attending the ball game. Rather vocal group down below here. 2 balls and a strike. Tony Perez has hit his 27th for Cincinnati. Billingham trying to win his 20th. Fastball up high, 3 balls and a strike. Bobby Bonds hit his 39th. Maybe the first guy to hit 40 and steal 40. Here's a ground ball to third. Hebner with an easy play. 2 down. Oh, the Montreal Expos, who have had a fine year this year, 1 out away from being eliminated from any possibility. Of course, the loss here would do that, or a New York Met win, and looks like both of those might occur here this afternoon. But you better believe that they have suddenly developed a fine pitching staff in Montreal, and pitching and defense are the name of the game. You can't score enough runs to win. Fly ball to left field. Ron Woods deep, but it's not deep enough, and fittingly Stargell will make the last out. That retires the Expos. Well, the Montreal Expos mathematically eliminated. The Pirates still have life. The pulse is a little bit thin and weak, but it is still there. And we need some help in Chicago. But the Mets lead there by the score of 5-2. Cubs batting in the bottom of the sixth inning. The final score, the Pirates won it 10-2. Your host has been Iron City Beer. When you're really ready to pour on the iron. Well, the Bucks snap a 3-game losing streak, and by doing so, stay in the Eastern Division race. Prolong it, where we have to play tomorrow. We'll be taking on the San Diego Padres. Game time tomorrow will be 1:35. We'll be on the air with warm-up show at 1:20. In this ball game, a big 6-run fourth inning, highlighted by some timely hitting. Al Oliver drove in a tying run at 1-1 after the Expos had scored in the fourth inning. And the other situation developed with an intentional walk to Hebner to pitch to Richie Zisk. Zisk grounded one through off the left side to drive in the go-ahead run. And then a walk to Sagian, loaded them up. And Dave Parker pinch hitting for Dal Maxwell. Got the key base hit a single up the middle to drive in two. And in a squeeze play, a well-executed one, Rooker got Sagian in. And then Cash ended the inning with a line single to left field to drive in another run. Pirates held on and no trouble at all as Rooker pitched another strong ball game to pick up his 10th win. He's lost only 6 times, and he has had himself quite a season. The Bucks have a good starting pitcher for them for next year. Pirates also scored 3 in the 5th, 1 more in the 6th to wind up the afternoon with 10 runs on 11 hits and no errors. The Expos 2-9-2. McAnally lost it. He's 7-9. Rooker the winner, 10-6. No home runs on the afternoon. Well, the standings look like this. New York losing the first ball game, 80-79 their record. The Cardinals still playing, but they lead by the score of 2-1. They're in the top of the 8th inning. The Phillies batting there. Their record 80-81. The Pirates likewise in with an 80-81 mark, are tied with the Cardinals. Montreal season is over, and they are out of the race now, 79-83. The Cubs in that ball game in Chicago in the game number 2. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning. New York leading 5-2. Koosman going against Fergie Jenkins. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow against the San Diego Padres. We'll be on the air at 1:20 with warm-up time. This game was brought to you in part by Iron City Beer, by Colorful Pittsburgh Paints, a product of PPG Industries, and by Foodland Markets, where loyal shopping earns greater savings. Now stay tuned for Pirate Scoreboard on the Pirate Baseball Network.